I've been beaten to the ground, dragged across the dirt. I've been scared to live cause some people never learn. But they're not gonna watch me burn. Cause baby I got you. It's a new beginnings and a better life. It's the dancing underneath the disco lights. They can try but they can never take me down. Ooh, cause I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid to love, not afraid to love you. I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid to love, not afraid to love you. They always bring all the lonely, but with you here nothing can scare me. I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid to love, not afraid to love you. I will tell them what I'm feeling forevermore. I don't care about the feelings, not anymore. So let's show them that love is pure, no matter who it's for. It's a new beginnings and a better life. It's the dancing underneath the disco light. They can try but they can never take me down. Cause I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid to love, not afraid to love you. I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid to love, not afraid to love you. They always bring all the lonely, but with you here nothing can scare me. I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid to love, not afraid to love you. Not afraid to love you. Not afraid to love you. I'm gonna go where my heart is. From now on I'm being honest. I'm gonna show that I got this love. Cause I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid to love, not afraid to love you. I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid to love, not afraid to love you. They always bring all the lonely, but with you here nothing can scare me. I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid to love, not afraid to love you. Not afraid to love you. Not afraid to love you.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
And we are back for another HNL Tonight Show with your hockey coach, Guru Coach Frenchy, directly for the beautiful Thailand. Tonight, we have a special guest. The panelist, Mr. MARKO LARABIE, is in the house tonight. Welcome back.
Yes, sir.
And the house. Look like my sound effect does not work right now. How was
Sorry,
your week?
the audio not working? Week
It
was
looked like
good.
the audio working,
Crazy.
but my for some reason my sound effect does not work.
Ah,
I know what
yeah. I
it
felt a
works.
little.
No, it's
I felt
I'm
a little
wrong.
underappreciated. I was
I,
expecting a good sound effect when I was introduced, but that's okay.
it's going
It
to
was a good
work
week.
now.
Busy at work, but ooh, yeah. That's better. Now I feel the love. That's good love.
So we have a great show tonight, Mr. Marco. We're going to talk about the X factor of the AV team in NHL. So what I did, I'm going to put you on the hot seat tonight. Usually it's in our tap, but now we're going to put you now in the hot seat. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to ask you an X factor for each team. Then we'll maybe talk a little bit more about each one of them, of course. But that's what it's all about tonight. I don't think so. We have enough
All
time
right.
to go to top 20. Tomorrow night is going to be more about Let's Talk Hockey, and I'm going to talk about fun top 20 on fun position around the players. For the fantasy hockey, starting talking a little bit more about the fantasy hockey. So we'll be back tomorrow night. And before, for sure, you're going to be back Sunday morning. We're going to talk about this a little bit later. But first of all, let's starting, Mr. Marco, with all the welcome in the house. Let's further ado to welcome everyone. And hopefully, we have an amazing, great show again tonight. Directly dans la belle province de Québec, le numéro 1. Fans of the Buffalo Sabres. We have only one, but we have the best one. That's the most important thing. It's not about the number, it's about the quality. And we have the quality fan, Mr. Alexandre Dubois, back in the house, the Wood.
The Wood.
The nickname, the Wood. You know, when you have a nickname like this, the Wood, Marco, that reminds me of the WWF, WWE, when I can see him, Alexandre, walking in with a big piece of the wood on his shoulder, and they call it the Wood, and that face to, I don't know,
the Bushwhackers,
the Jean Andre or something like that. I don't know.
Jonathan is a good one, though. Golden
and then,
against Wood.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then we have the referee, Danny's going to be in the rink to figure out everything about that one there. You need help, he can bring his brother Roger. He can jump in on that one there. You and another time, you're going to be the PA. Or you go to work on the TV. You're going to be at the PA of the WWE. So that's happening about this one. Then, but we have the double intensity. What are you talking about? The game-winning goal hockey and the Bobby Baguette Donuts back in the house tonight.
Game-winning Bobby.
Bobby is number one fans of the Nevada Golden Knights. I can wait to talk about his X factor for them. And it will be interesting to talk about them and whatnot. British Columbia. Good afternoon, Mr. Or good evening now, honestly. It's a 6:05 over there. Mr. Luke, welcome back in the house.
Good evening, Luke.
And then we have Vinny, James 007. Welcome back again, Mr. Vinny. I need to get better. I cannot remember exactly what Vinny is coming from, so maybe he can put this down, or country or state, whatever it is, Vinny. And we're going to mention, where are you coming from? I cannot remember. I'm not sure if ever you tell us, but maybe next time we're going to see this. We have a couple already, some moderator in the house. Let's start with another assistant moderator, Mr. Luciano Graziano. Welcome back in the house.
Welcome, Luciano.
Luciano is a great supporter of the Hockey Nation Live show. Talking about the supporter, about the panelists and the moderator of the Hockey Nation Live show. Back from Toronto, Ontario. Take another day off, night off possible. Mr. Enor Tap is back in the house tonight.
Probably watching the Jays or watching the U.S. Open.
Yeah, it's another Friday night. That remind me of the football high school between Midland against Odessa. The Friday night, the lights. How do you call it? Football Friday night?
Yeah, Friday Night Lights. Yeah.
There we go. So, I've been there in Texas. Watched the high school between the... Oh, my God, I cannot remember. Bajan, no. The page, no. I cannot remember the part.
I cannot remember the name of the high school. But
anyway,
football.
It was Roy Williams was still play there. before he got drafted by the Dallas Cowboys, but it's a subject for another day. About Roy Williams, that would be something else. And then we got the captain of the moderator, Mr. Danny T, back in the house. Welcome back, Danny.
Bonjour, la
Thanks to be
police.
us. And then Stratic, what is an X factor?
Yeah,
It's
I would like to know that before you start asking me exactly how we're going to define that.
Yeah, I can define a little bit more about this again in this sense. So, it's an X factor is someone or many can make an impact for the team for upcoming season. So, could be the head coach, could be what kind of move they did during the summer, and what kind of X factor can make a big, huge impact for the team for upcoming years. So that's what we're going to talk about this this morning, afternoon, whatever we are. This is difficult to follow up. This is my fourth morning. I wake up at 4:30. And
You look sharp,
it was a
you
little
look
bit
sharp.
harder this morning, honestly, compared other morning. But we make it. It's all about preparation, right? So it take until the time we're
Special
supposed
orange
to be
juice.
ready. And then, we have a lot of work to do. Imagine when I'm going to start at 5 o'clock live. That would be fun, honestly. But that's another subject for another time.
Wow.
And we have Mr. Rick Kane back in the house tonight.
Rick Kane.
Welcome back, Rick. Thanks to be with us. Talking about the Shock, talking about the Micro Lab Shock HD is in the house tonight.
That's a really cool icon that he's got his
Micro, the
avatar.
Power
Awesome.
Play show, it become the HNL tonight, and the Power Play show would be only for specific occasions during the season in NHL. And maybe possible we'll bring him back during the off season next year. But that's what happening about this one over there. More of me, I stuck with the mostly traditional
power
hockey
play.
market, but I took very few Sunbelt risk. Awesome, Rick. Awesome to hear that. He's back in the house for the New Brunswick area. We miss him a lot for the last couple of months, but he's back. Come on down. Let's go. Welcome back, Johnny Golden.
He could have been in a Mortal Kombat game. Like it's like a character that could be in Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, honestly, Johnny is a great man, Mr. Danny, Mr. Marko. About this, I was right about that. Here we go. And I thought find a way. The Hacksaw Jim Duncan. About this. Is he pass away? Is it him pass
No,
away?
I don't think so.
No?
I don't think so. No, that was Razor Ramon. I think that recently passed away.
Well, special referee and for this occasion, we're going to bring a special, of course, and then Johnny Golden met Ric Flair a few years ago. Remember him?
Crazy. Oh yeah, Ric Flair, man. He's on every internet meme that you can find nowadays. He's famous.
We have everything here, Mr. Marko.
I was gonna say, wow. Holding on to that one, saving that one for a while.
I'm telling you right now, we have
That's awesome.
everything we can bring to the table for the people. We have it and live. So that's what's happening about this event. And we have the full team is in the chat tonight. Jose Duarte, another great moderator of the Hockey National Show directly from upstate New York. Whoops, sorry about this one now. We have to go back where it's supposed to be. Welcome back, Jose Duarte. I think, Jose, we missed you a couple of nights ago. And talking about Jose, we forgot to talk about Round with Kings 20. Welcome back. Now the team is complete for the moderator right there. And the Jays are winning 3-1 at the 4 innings from top. And then back in the house, we missed him for a couple of weeks. I know he makes some comments on my videos. Ior Shabunia, welcome back, Ior. Hopefully see you, my friend. Glad to having you aboard. And can wait to talk about hockey with you the next couple of minutes. That'll be awesome. And then the X Factor in our top set is Arbor Jack, Mr. Marko. That will be about this one there. Here we go. He's back after 1 month. Exactly what I was talking about. Talking about welcome back. We missed a couple of days. I don't know he was on the injury list, but now he's back in the Hockey National Show. Mr. Renault, welcome back in the house. Mr. Renault. Coach, why does that rail salary jump around from 2.5 to 4.0 the next season and then back to 2.8? Any answer for
It's a
that
good
one?
question. Like, I don't know technically why. Like, I think really what matters is the overall average. There might be something to do, I don't know, with why they average it out that way. Maybe tax reasons, hard to say, but bottom line is the AVV is really the most critical piece of how that's constructed.
Yeah, I want to be sure I give you the right things about this one over there. Honestly, it just does not change anything. It's just the way they give him the money to his pocket, and but his AAV it will become a 3.36 on the salary cap for the each year. So it's
Yeah.
not changed. It's just the way they pay the players the base salary per the year, but it's not changed anything. The cap hit is going to be 3.362 500 per season. So I want to be sure for the next 4 years. If you have any, like bonus
No,
signature, something like
no,
that, but not at all.
no.
It's just the way they
Probably
structure.
his agent probably knows that inflation is going to keep rising, and he's
Yeah,
saving the bulk for the end of
yeah.
the year, maybe.
But again, like I mentioned, they just try to manage they could honestly they could go that way. Marco is they could give him like a $12 million the first year cash, all right, and then he could give him like only 1 million for the next 3 years. Example,
Yeah,
but at the end of the
yeah,
day, his average on the salary cap hit for the team is always going
yeah,
to be 3.36. So I just want to share this one over there. So great
yeah.
question, Renaud. I love those kind of questions, me, where people can live about this one over there. I currently live in Ottawa. He's your neighbor, Mr. Vinny, for 2 years, but used to live
Yes,
in
sir.
Gatineau for 7 years, coach. Here we
Yes,
go,
no,
Vinny. Glad to hear
fantastic.
that. Another great fans of the
Lots of Ottawa peeps.
Ottawa. And Marco is another one on your neighbor. So Danny, Marco, Roger, all in the same way. We miss Corey Hill. Corey Hill was a great fans, Mr. Marco, on the morning show, the morning, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, we didn't see
Okay.
him anymore. Maybe we should do a morning show one day. At, 11 o'clock p.m. for me, but that's not a subject for the time. And then we have the fun fact. Here we go, Mr. Fun fact of the day. Cristiano is the oldest player to score a shot in the goal. He was 43 years old and 352
Wow.
days. Congratulations. I love those fun facts
Wow.
of the day.
He scored it from the sauna too.
Yeah, what a hockey player. He was with the Montreal Canadiens,
Amazing.
but now, he's not there anymore. And then Danny met Pamela Anderson on the WWE. I
Wow.
meet her on the beach, me, if I can recall
Really?
her. Pamela was on the beach.
What are the odds of that? Two people in the same live stream that met Pamela Anderson. Those are incredible odds.
Yeah. So, it's happened sometimes, but we cannot have a show without him because he keep up with all the updates. Mr. RJ Calabro, sport in the house tonight. Back in the house after a couple of weeks off, Mr. Peter August. Welcome back in the house. How many massages so far? I'm at the middle of my third week in Thailand, honestly. And I have only 2 so far, Peter. One for my feet and one for my body. So far, so good. $6 every massage, 60 minutes. It's not, cannot complaining about this one over there. And
It's the same price if you do the whole body or the feet, or is it cheaper just for the feet?
Yeah. Same amount about this one there. They use some other technique. They have some technique like I never saw before, so it's pretty good about this one over there. And then a lot of people fall asleep on the chair, by the way, but that's a subject for another time. About this, it's really well organized. Most of them are pretty good about this, but they have a massage every corner, like they have a church in USA and maybe Tim Horton in Canada. That's a 3 compare.
Wow.
It's friend compare. Like it's friend industry, but that's all I've been thinking
Big
about
industry.
friend contract.
Yeah, the massage.
Yeah.
Very relaxed people in Thailand.
Yeah, and then they have it's funny because these don't swim. Like we have a beach, like for a mile, right? Nobody swim. Like nobody's in the water. Like barely a couple. And but
Interesting.
they do. It's really different, like they do tailgate, like so they don't have nobody have beach towels. Like they have a carpet, and they bring that kind of carpet and they sit there, or they rent a chair, and they're all around the what they have, the food, everything, and they talk each other for a couple hours. And what they did, the people in Thailand here, they put some big lights about, like, I don't know, like I don't know, 0.2 mile, no, man, 0.1 mile. And the lights go on the beach, you can see everything on the beach. And
Cool.
people sit on the beach the night and they eat. It's like a tailgate. Some have music, and it's pretty unique where how they do things. And they have all the kind of bike with food on the beach, and the
But they
people
don't
buy their
swim though,
food,
like
or they bring their own food and they celebrate together. Like not only thriller, it's like every like it's all together. And the 7-Eleven here is exactly like any kind of grocery store you have, and not a grocery store, but it's like I don't know, like an provisoire or something like that in Canada, example in French. And they are everywhere. The 7-Eleven is like McDonald's here. Like every corner they have a 7-Eleven for everything. So you can get everything. Then and here another thing I want to mention to you, Marco, is like the Uber food or whatever they call it. And Canada, I don't know Canada have a Uber, but it's called a Grab.
Yeah, Uber Eats.
Grab.
Yeah.
Grab.
Grab,
It's
yeah, that's so weird. You mentioned that before. It sounds very aggressive.
yeah.
Grab.
Yeah, so Grab, so what the motorbike does, it's only a motorbike. It's not like a car. It's a motorbike. And they pick up your food. They pick up you anything you want to on the grocery store. They go and they shop for you. They bring back to you. And
Yeah.
it's like crazy.
Grab.
Like some people don't have to go nowhere. They can get everything by Grab. Like that apps is unbelievable. Honestly, I walk around me because I'm not there yet, but yeah, pretty amazing to see that. So that's what happened
Cool.
about this. It was a big answer for a long answer for Mr. Peter August. Welcome back in the house, Mr. Peter, by the way. And my neighbor in Thailand, Cater Rock Team T. For the cat is the fact that the Wigger is not longer here for the Florida Panther. It's another team. I can wait to watching them this year. I'm sure he is a big fan of the Panthers. He really believes on his team, but I still have a couple doubt about the team, how going to react with the new coach and the new players they have and the player they lost. So very interesting about that team to follow for sure. Thanks to be with us again, Mr. Gators. Mr. Gator will return in Thailand December 8th, by the way. So I can wait to see him around for sure. The whole body massage, that's the kind of, it's called, you have a kind, it's fun kind of, they have like the Thai, they have the oil, they have, it's fun kind of stuff, but they stretch you a lot. That's really strange. Like they use that kind of, the move I can never see before, and they, pretty good, pretty amazing what they do. And they use their body on you, like they twist you. It's like, wow. Anyway, that's what
do they do the walk
time.
on your back thing? Like, do they walk on you, or is that just a Japanese thing?
Yeah, so one time they stretch you, like they hold your hands, and then you hold her, and then she pushes you backwards to stretch the back, everything like this. But they do a lot of stuff like I was said on the legs. Like I never see like a massage, and USA they just massage your body, but your legs. But then they will stretch you, your legs and your foot. Like they will, your foot is right there, example, but you bring your foot like this, like, and anyway, so this is pretty cool about that. And a lot of, you walk and they just tell you, hey, want to massage? It's like funny, but anyway, the subject. Mr. Drummondville back in the house tonight. Welcome aboard. Thanks to be a part of the show tonight. Then we got everybody in that chat right now. So we have a lot of people. And finally from Sweden, back in the house, Mr. Stefan Manberg. Welcome back in the house.
Hey, Stefan.
Stefan always show up at the end of his shift at the sport bar. He's the owner of a couple of restaurants in the North Sweden. Stefan, welcome back. Cool. Hopefully your dad, Mr. Stefan, doing well. I know you visit him during the Christmas, so glad to having you aboard tonight. Always a pleasure. I have Stefan and Yamo Vertanen. Both of them was with us years ago with the Hockey Nation Live Show. And that's complete all the welcome we have in the chat, Mr. Marco. And I think if you're ready to rock and roll, we're going to go all the way on the
Do it.
subject tonight. And for
Yes, sir.
everybody, yes, we have a Frenchy quiz. We're going to put Marco on the test. Marco is the winner of the year number 3, the first quiz. He was the winner on that one over there, so congratulations.
Yeah.
And this year we have a standing, ladies and gentlemen. Yep, I take a note that every
Oh, no.
winner of the
boy.
quiz we're going to bring to you at some point, and talk about this, everything like that. That'd be great about this. If you have any question like Peter has, we're going to stop everything. You're welcome, Stefan, by the way. Don't laugh, but I think the one will have a breakout year about this one over there. Mr. Marco, what do you think about that one?
Yeah, I think we've discussed this a couple times. I don't hear a lot of people talking about this, but I have a theory about Drouin that I would like to see. So at some point in your career, I think, sometimes you just end up not being the player that people thought that you were going to be. And smart players that last a long time in the league, they reinvent themselves a little bit so they can find a new role and everything else. So I think we all know that Drouin is not going to be a 70, 80 point guy, but there's a real opportunity working with a coach like Martin Saint-Louis for him to be consistent in his production, but maybe give him a little bit of a different role. Give him a job, give him something he can focus on, give him something like a new identity that he can develop into. So this might sound crazy, but they did this with Pacioretty back in the day too. Have him kill penalties. Give him a really focused role on the team, and maybe that unlocks some hidden potential, makes him a little bit more relaxed. And maybe the offensive production comes there. But I'm one of the rare people that is still a believer in his talent. Hopefully, it really comes down to his wrists as well. He's had a lot of problems with his wrists. So I still have faith in Drouin. And new number 27, back to his original number now. So maybe there's some extra juju that he gets from switching back to his new number. We'll have to see.
Yeah, great comments, Marco. I will say one more thing about him. Only thing I will say, maturity. I think now he's at the age now he understands who is he, what he can accomplish, and I think that's called for me with maturity. I think he's on the best mindset to be ready for upcoming year, and maybe he clean up everything he need to clean up his life and whatever happening. So I would just want the best for him. Whatsoever who's a Montreal Canadian or any other team in the future for him, I think for me it's maturity. We'll see how he's going to But the absolute about
we'll be
role,
talking a lot about it on
everybody need to have another role, what they need to accomplish to bring, and they have less pressure this year with the Caulfield, the Ziski, and the Safkaski now, and every other things. The fans may be targeting more those players versus Drouin, French, Canadian, and everything like that. So I think that'd be a great one over there for sure. Renaud, ask you this one. Cole Caulfield get a deal similar to Tim Suzla next year this time?
I don't know about if it would be next year, because I still think they probably will extend him this year. I see him being in the same neighborhood. We've had these debates on the show within our tap around whether they should go bridge or go long term. I'm a believer in going long term. You lock in your good players early. So maybe it's not the same number as Stützle. Maybe it lands a little bit just under where Suzuki is. So maybe just in the high 7 millions, like 7,900,000, 7,800,000, something like that for 7 or 8 years, I think is very possible. It really depends the kind of advice that Caulfield's camp is giving him, right? So, because again, like he might be getting advice to take the bridge deal and bet on himself, or he might be getting advice like listen to what Kirby Doc said in his interview. He very much spoke to his family and friends and his management to decide whether he was going to just take a 1 or 2 year deal or if he was going to take this 4-year deal. So you can never underestimate the influence that your family and management team, when I say management team, your agent and all the people in your entourage, they have a huge influence on kind of what the player will do. So it really depends on the type of advice that Caulfield would get. If I was advising him, I would go for the long-term deal because smaller guy, why take on that risk? But should be interesting to see.
Yeah. You know, I think the contract of Tim Susla hurt a little bit Cole Caulfield, to be honest with you, because I believe without if Susla get 8.8 or $8 or $9 million, I think now Cole Caulfield can go a little bit higher, and I think he's going to be at that area. I think he's going to get a little bit more at Suzuki at the end of the day, and I think he's going to go for 7, 8 years. But I would not be surprised he go back a bridge contract at 3 years. At $6 to $7 million, and then we'll see what could happen about this. Because I think Tim Susla, it was a steal for the Ottawa Senator. I think for me, it's like, wow, this kid was going to maybe make $10 million, and after a year, number 3 or 4. So,
Pierre Dorion was. It's so weird. How did you see how he did the contract for Stitzel? Like he basically announced it in the middle of a press conference, just random.
it was well done,
Villon
said. It was well done,
very well done.
organized by the Ottawa Senator. I have to give credit for what is going on with the $2 over there,
Yeah.
and the way they do things
Melnick.
right now over there. This is a top A plus of any organization right now.
Agree. Yeah, it's listen, like it's always I live in Ottawa. It's not always been an easy team to root for many reasons. Hard to go watch them all the way. They're in Canada. It's like a really huge pain in the butt to go there. But listen, I'm always going to be a Habs fan, but I'm more than any time I can remember, I'm very excited to catch some Senators games. There's a lot to be excited about.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
can
I think
feel
I was going to ask. I'm sure that many people now at Ottawa are very excited for the upcoming year over there. Whatsoever
yeah.
your Montreal Canadian fans, but people will follow more the Senator for the upcoming year for sure, the next couple of years for sure. I just want to remind a lot of people asking me, "Oh, but Susla, come on, 8 million. He's only 20 years old. Did not do too much in the NHL." Guys, I will give you a stat here. He has more points in his first 2 years to Leon Draisaitl. And Draisaitl got his contract one at this year number 3 at 29 goals. He got his contract at 8.3. Now, the others are laughing about because Draisaitl could be $11, $12 million per year at this moment.
Yeah.
So I think the Ottawa Senator going to laugh about the contract of Susla at year number 3 when he's going to get 23, 24 years old. And that's what I said. Sometimes I think kids take too longer, a contract too long because they want to security, but sometimes going to turn around to be not great. But
Yeah.
20 years old, but you still have another contract about 28, 29, 30. So I will give you another, or 27. That will give them another chance to get another biggest contract after that. So would be really
Just
interesting
ask,
about this one for sure.
Just ask Brendan Gallagher, Max Pacioretty in the early Bergevin years if they regret taking those contracts. I think Pacioretty ended up firing his agent, right? Because he had that terrible deal. Like he was scoring 30 goals every year and he was getting paid, was it 4.5 or 5, for 30
Exactly.
goal seasons.
Miss Kelly in the house tonight.
Hey,
Miss Kelly, welcome aboard.
welcome, Kelly.
Drummondville just joined our conversation. I hope the Ottawa Senators have a good season, make it the playoffs. Same with the Montreal Canadiens. No for the Montreal Canadiens, but
Yeah.
Ottawa is going to fight with the Boston Bruins, and that'll be awesome about this. What does the Bringat sign for? He has usual offensive production since Souza got more Brady. Example, if the Bringat got 40 goals, how much money he can get?
Yeah, like it's DeBrincat can be close to that 10 million, right? Like he'll be probably like the highest earner on the team just based on that track record. So he could easily be 9 million. So they're going to have some really tough decisions to make there. But yeah, easily can get right in that number. Especially gets these like because what he has, I have to go back into his production here, but he has like 2 40-goal seasons.
Yep.
DeBrincat. So hopefully it's not a Jeff Skinner kind of situation with him, but he's gonna be right there in the 9 millions.
Some players are born to score like this, and the way if you compare him compared to Skinner was not like finishing like the Brinkat finish. You can put the puck on the blade, and the Brinkat he will find a way to put that puck in the net. Like it's
Yeah.
too much natural. It's like talent wise, a little bit better to Skinner. So I'm not worried about this one over there. I would say to you, if you get like 35, maybe 40 goals for the upcoming year, you have to talk about 8.5 to 9 million to 9.5 if you go a long term over there. That will give now
Oh yeah.
Ottawa with almost like 6 player, like 5 player over $8 million. So it's a lot of money on that. The good news for them, and 2 years after that, the salary cap are increasing. So it's good for them
Yeah.
to see that. So
They
really
could just
interesting
hire
to
Kyle
follow with
Dubas
that
in
for
3
sure.
years.
Yeah, great
They'll just
question
hire
again,
Kyle
Renaud.
Dubas in a couple years.
Absolutely right about this. Jose Duarte have a question. We'll go to answer a couple of questions before we talk about the subject. Because what did you think Reese getting PDO for the Toronto? Do you think they would keep him?
That's a good move. Like we were just talking about with Ottawa, right? So Toronto, the teams that have all the cap heavy teams, they have to Tetris their way to building a roster every year, right? Because you're trying to find inexpensive pieces. So they're going to make moves like this every year. They already got Aubrey Kubel, who's a nice piece. Zach Austin Reese, very similar player. I don't think he can play up your lineup that effectively. Maybe your third line, but listen, the Leafs, we know that they've had problems, getting past that first round. I'm not a huge believer that adding character, gritty players in your bottom six really moves the needle. You need to have those gritty players play in your top six so you can put them in the ice when it really matters to win those games. Of course, you need balance, third and fourth lines with guys like that. But I don't buy that GMs think, okay, I can keep my top six as it is, not make any changes, add these character players in my bottom six, and magically it's going to change how we perform in the playoffs. So good player, they could use somebody like that. But the Leafs, again, they haven't transformed that top six, having a Kachuk kind of guy in their top six to really take them to that next level.
Yep. I really believe, I'm not sure about Florida, but I believe Toronto is going to have a good home run this year. I feel like this is the year right now they're really going to go all the way, and they're going to have a great year overall.
Yeah, I predicted they won 2 rounds this year.
Yeah. Does Philip Gustafson coming back to the Senators?
Yeah, he's going to be their backup. Oh no, it's Forsberg, right? So
Yeah.
Gustafson, kind of a tweener, they gave him a pretty good look with Forsberg, and Forsberg just ended up, really winning out for that backup role. So yeah, he's a tweener. He was a really highly regarded prospect. So that's a nice, and they have somebody else as well too. I forget what his name is, but they're pretty deep in net,
Sogard.
right? So yeah, Sogard. So that they're really deep there. Obviously not a great trading partner for Montreal, being in the same division, but those are the kind of teams that Montreal needs to look at to try to
So
find
question for
a
you: if
goaltender
they
shot.
put Gustafson on the waiver list to you, if you Montreal, you'd pick him up or not?
Absolutely, for sure, I would give him a whirl.
All
Nothing to
right.
lose this year.
That's a good one about this. Another panelist, Andrew Lapage from Nova Scotia, is on the house tonight.
Yes, sir.
Welcome
Sent their
back, Andrew.
highest.
Let's see you around with us tonight. Congratulations for last night. Everybody welcome him. And then, hello. Quiz will go again the leave cap if he's on the tryout.
No, PTO it's basically an opportunity for the player to try out during training camp. What's interesting about PTOs is sometimes it happens that you're on a PTO practicing with one team, but then another team that maybe is watching them practice can come in and sign them as well. So you're still a total free agent, doesn't cost anything to the team. It's really just an opportunity for that team to evaluate the player a bit closely within their environment, playing with their players. But at any given time, he could still be signed by anyone, right? So PTOs are great for both sides because if you're, especially in today's NHL, where the bottom six players are really being pushed out because of the high salaries and the really flat cap, it's a great opportunity for those players to get a bit of a showcase because they're not just really auditioning for the team that they have the PTO, but for all the teams across the NHL.
Yep, so right. The PDO at the end of the day is try to impress to get a contract in NHL. That's really the purpose of the PDO, Kelly. Too early to say what the league will do. I have to see how they will match up for it. Yeah, I understand, Peter. I just feel, for me, the Toronto have better piece of the puzzle to have a little bit longer for the upcoming year. That's the only thing I would predict right now, Peter. But you're absolutely right. How depends what you're going to do. Our friend Alan Barnes is in the house tonight. Alan, welcome back.
Hey, Alan.
Should Piquet Subban sign for the minimum with the leave? Yes or no?
If I was PK or advising PK, why not, man? Like it's a decent shot.
Yeah, but do you think if the Toronto Maple Leafs want Piquet Subban?
No. But if they did, then I would absolutely advise them to do it. But I don't think the Leafs.
For me, a guy like I don't know why the Seattle Kraken, they don't ask him to play 1 year at X dollars per year. They don't have any player like him on the defenseman over there. I understand he's not a 19, 23 years old, we know. But their defense is so much. They don't have that kind of player, although the fact Vince Dunn. And I think Subban is better to Dunn overall.
Yeah, like in Seattle, even though they've made some nicer moves, like I think everybody would just like to see Seattle grab some more headlines and be a little bit more exciting because they had a very, very vanilla Ron Francis-like year in the first year after their expansion draft. Great summer so far, so good excitement coming. But PK would be great for that market. Right?
Exactly.
So I agree there.
You nailed it, of course. That marketing would be great. People will love him, and he's a guy that can, turn around this, honestly. And I think you're absolutely right about this. Mr. Ren Sexton is in the house. Welcome back, Ren. Hopefully an amazing, great week off season, Ren in Florida. Big fans. How do you feel about the UB trade? I did not catch your video the night of. Not a problem, Ren. We're going to give you this in about like 30 seconds. Mr. Marco, 1 minute. What do you think about that trade for the Panthers? Huberdeau versus Tkachuk at the end of the day.
I think from a macro perspective, like, in the short term here, I think overall Florida's taken a bit of a step back compared to last year. The Huber trade in particular, I think they needed to make a change. The culture, there's just something weird about the culture there. And, there was rumors about Huberdeau in the nightclub and all that stuff. So I think they had to make that move. Huberdeau did not perform very well in the playoffs recently. So they identified who they really wanted and they made it happen. So problem is that now with including Uyghur was kind of the big question mark for me because now their defense is really questionable. But, listen, like 1-for-1, Tkachuk, Huberdeau, I take Tkachuk any day, right? Like I was just talking about how I feel the Leafs could use a player like him for the playoffs just to have that element in your top six. So I think they knew this. I think they're willing to take a bit of a step back this year, but now they'd have Tkachuk for the next 8 years, and they're more than happy to build around him. So Huberdeau is a quality player, set a record last year for a left winger. So I'm not saying he's not a good player, but building somebody for the playoffs, I think you're good with Tkachuk.
Will be interesting. I think Bill Zito found something we don't know inside this locker room, inside this culture, and he bring a new coach and he figure out something like I mentioned, and it would be interesting what they're going to react and how they're going to change this kind of the aggressivity with Matthew Tkachuk, everything. But I'm still questionable if the team is better or worse. I think they're not going to reach the same kind of the performance they did last season. Some other things inside Rand. But as a fans, you have to be happy because, again, you're the top 10 NHL, best team in NHL at this moment. So I will not be too much worried about them for sure. To already call out connection for 8. Practice. Totola already called out Konechny for 8 late in the practice yesterday.
Ooh. So
we're going to talk about this the next couple of minutes for sure. The people, Mr. Andy Koivula back in the house this morning, winner of the Frenchy quiz yesterday.
Very impressive win.
And then Stratic, the Kraken was probably choosing between Subban and Schultz, and they chose Justin Schultz. Great point about this. Justin Schultz, 32 years old, veteran, played for the Washington Capitals couple of years. He's a good puck mover. I really like him during the playoff for the Washington Capitals, but again, that's a great point for Stratic about this one over there. And then you have Mikro, welcome Jeffrey to the page. But let's just try to see out if we have other things. Canucks signed Danny the Carrier to the PDO. And I just mentioned about this one over there. Tesla had his hands full in Philadelphia. Coach, what do you mean by X Factor have start yet? No, we're going to get there. I just want to be sure we did not forget one question. Heard other one after Vertonen. Anyone else heard this? It's funny, Andy, you're the second one talk about him. One guy on the, I don't know, it's Terry or John. There are two guys give me, you guys, by the way, if you don't mind, at the end of the show, leave a comment inside that show that we're helping the viewers to have more people anyway. And anyway, so people send me a lot of comments about each video I do. And one of them talk about, is the second guy, indeed talk about Jake Vertonen possible to have a contract or PDO with Edmonton Oilers. I did not see this on social media, but
I've seen it,
people talk about this. So I don't know if you heard something about this, Marco.
Yeah, there's a rumor going around that I think Jake Virtanen might have even posted something, or there was a fake version of something that he posted. It's not clear, but there is that rumor that there's a couple teams that are looking to give him a chance. And obviously, with his history, he's a pretty controversial guy. I would be surprised that they would do that, but it's a possibility.
Do you have any connection with Will Groff or someone for the others with Vertonen, or just like they just opened the door? That's it.
No. I think it's probably his agent that's going around trying to light some fires, right, to build some interest for his client. That's probably what's happening.
Chicago Bear fans 97, welcome back in the house. And I'll talk about possible Sharks trade at Timo Meier. It's a one X factor. We're going to talk about this a bit later. And free stuff. Welcome back in the house. He's just missing a real deal brim. And we have the deal of the day. It's going to be a sensation to have the most sincere comment. I think Kelly asked about, did we answer back to Kelly? Oh, no, it's just start, not yet. Here we go, Andrew. Get some really good hockey player. Drummondville, I'm sorry, but we're not talking about that subject. Maybe another time. That'd be great. Here we go, Mr. Marco. It's time to talk about this 45 minutes. We stay on the time a little bit. We want to answer those Friday night. We are a little bit below the Friday night. We're not pushing too much.
Very good questions,
Marco. But before we start, we want to invite everybody to don't forget Sunday morning, 11 o'clock. We are our first... honestly, ab brunch, your Sunday rendezvous with Marco. Marco is a co-host of this show with me. And this week, we have a special contributor who's going to join us. Honestly, I'm talking about Karen Hans, contributor of the Hockey Nation show and a great writer for the Hockey Bars. Any comments you want to talk about the show a little bit before we jump in on the X Factor?
Yeah, very excited to have Karen join us. It's going to be the inaugural episode number 1 of Habs Brunch, so we're really excited. New format, some good topics. We're going to be previewing the rookie camp. We're going to be talking about the signings from last week. It's an overview of kind of what happened this week, and very cool contest. We're the different thing with this show is we're going to have a weekly contest. You'll be able to win a draft guide from Coach. Very, very cool show. We're really excited for it. Join us at 11 a.m. on Sunday. Habs Brunch. Yeah,
absolutely right about this one over there. And I want to mention to you, is going to be this one over there. Prospect. So you're going to get the Elite Prospect Fantasy Guide available now. I don't know the cost of this one, but just want sharing this. We got a couple we're going to give awards during the week, and it's coming. So we have a couple of idea we're going to give on the season, left and right, and then so I'll give you an idea about this. And like he said, Marco, we're going to talk about the Montreal Canadiens. And then another one you want to talk maybe a little bit more is about the HNS, the Hockey National Show team report. Maybe open up a door about this, maybe like
Yep.
30 seconds, 1 minute before we jump.
For sure, for sure. So yeah, this is a really important part of season 3. So because we know in our community we have so many fans of different teams, so we've already put together a nice group of different contributors that are going to be doing weekly videos to summarize the activity in teams all across the league. Some of the teams that we're going to have include, correct me if I'm wrong here, it would be Florida, Toronto, Pittsburgh, Colorado Avalanche, Detroit Red Wings. So all these different contributors, so we're going to have all this great content. If you know somebody that's interested in covering another team, or if you're interested in covering a team, we're not asking for a huge commitment, a 10, 15-minute video every week to help inform everybody about what's going on about different teams in the NHL. It's going to be really fun to build out a bit of a network and get different contributors so that everybody in the Hockey Nation can get their news right from the Hockey Nation channel with Coach FRENCHY, and bring on some great people to bring us along for the ride.
Well said, Marco. And for Kelly, yeah, they are recording the show the Sunday now. We try to do less live streaming and then do more recording videos for the people can watching our video to increasing the viewers and bring people more at the channel, because we are right now a stag with 5,000 subscribers. We don't get a lot of viewers for the last couple of days. So anyhow, it is what it is. So time, Mr. Marco, to put you on the hot seat and welcome back.
All right, let's do it.
And then we're going to talk about the Anaheim Ducks. And the time we talk about the AV team, guys, we're going to give you comments on the channel, but maybe not going to on the screen, but maybe not talk all of your comments because it would be too much time here. But the first one is the Trevor Zegras talent and the impact he brings for Anaheim Ducks. What do you see him as an X factor for the upcoming year, and for Anaheim Ducks, what they need to do to get a little bit better overall?
Well, yeah, like to me, Trevor Zegras is not an X factor. He's Trevor Zegras. We know he's going to be great. I think the X factor for Anaheim is really, the other young players emerging to build more of a team, right? So we know McTavish is going to be joining. He's going to be a huge impact player for them. So really, to me, the X factor is how do all these young pieces come together along with some of the more veteran pieces. They added Klingberg. You've got Gibson back there. So I have some thoughts around Anaheim. Some people have them in that bottom 5 competing for a lottery pick. I don't know. Like there's so much talent there. I don't know if it's going to be this year they take a step, but it's close. So for me, the X factor is all the young talent blending and taking a little bit of an extra step this year, I think is the big X factor.
Yeah, you're absolutely right
Chemistry.
about this one over there. I agree with you about this. And then let's move on to the next team. And the next team is Arizona. The X Factor, Mr. Marco, the Mullet Arena. This is the X
Mullet
Factor,
Arena,
$5,000, 5,000 possible sellout over there, and a lot of things around this one. There's maybe clarify a bit more like the impact, not only for Arizona Coyotes, but of course, is it a black eyes for the NHL? Is this something like where what is going happening with this team organization, everything like that?
Yeah. Listen, like I'll try to be positive. So here's a positive spin. If you're a player for Arizona, I think if you're forced to play in Arizona, you'd probably prefer to play in a place that only can seat 5,000, because it's probably going to feel like a better atmosphere having a full building, even if it's 5,000, versus having a big building with only 5,000 people or even less in it. So from a player perspective, and even for like the fan experience side, and even how it will come across on TV, in the short term, I think the NHL can spin it in a positive way. Say, hey, look, it's this quirky little arena, so much atmosphere. So I'm trying to be positive, but in the long run, we know this is kind of a long running problem, and they're being supported by the more kind of revenue generating teams. And listen, like, I'm not Gary Bettman obviously has a plan. He has a responsibility to the stakeholders that we don't know all the details. But you think Arizona was a really important piece for them before because of the TV money, right? You need to have TV markets. That's really what it's about. But now that Vegas is there, why is Arizona such a critical TV market? Why are they still so focused when you have these amazing markets like Houston that are available? I don't know. Tough one.
It's
But you're right.
because it's
Yeah,
more
it's a weird
national.
one.
So for them, ESPN is on the every household everywhere in the USA. So if they're targeting one state out, but they may be losing million dollars because of that contract with the ESPN. So
Yeah.
they're targeting like it's like every province in Canada try to make an NHL team. It's the same way in USA. They try to make no. So we're not Houston because they already have Dallas over there. So that's the reason why they don't try to go. That's the reason they select Seattle because it's part of the West Coast area over there. So that's the reason how they talk about this. Honestly, about this,
Yeah.
Mr. And our talk about the X Factor World Melka for the goaltender. Honestly, is
Yeah.
he came in the NHL or older, like not usually the same path like usually they are. Really great
Yeah. Yeah.
performance last year for them. Honestly, is the one maybe handled hanging the team and all the way with a little bit more success during the season last season. But what do you
Yeah.
expect for him
I hope he
for the
got his
upcoming
rest.
year?
I hope he rested up during the summer because he's gonna be busy again. I feel bad for the bear out there.
Yep. So right about this, everybody is agree with that, indeed. And then free stuff about Kaddish Bar here. Another great year last season with them. Honestly, he may be reborn as a hockey
Yeah,
player, but we don't expect too much about
sure.
him. We know he have an amazing, great year one
Whoa.
time with the Flowers. He got a big contract, never been after that. Let's move on to the next team of this. For people, guys, it's not confusing. I don't know how you confusing. We talk about each team and we talk about a X factor, and the key is you just talking. If you talk about the team we're talking about, that's easy. When it's going to be a time of your team, but you can maybe some comments. That's way on to wait. So it's not very confusing. We see the X factor for each team. We try to make a complement of the X factor for. So that's the reason we do that way. So anything else, let me know. We can put a question. We're going to try to answer to you, but it's not confusing. We're going to review the 32 team all one by one with the X factor about that team, and Ottawa did well. Here's the Boston X factor. It's only the early injuries. We talk about the Gretschek, we talk about McEnroy, we talk about Brett Marchand. They are three. At some point, where a lot of fans was very nervous because without the contract of Bergeron, Krejci, they had maybe settled down a little bit better the situation of Boston Bruins. But is it good enough? And Swimmen and Hulmark, is it good enough for them to have the same kind of season they did last season? What do you see the Boston Bruins overall and the X factor, the early injury could be having a big impact on that for the year for the Boston?
Yeah, I think you nailed it for this one for sure. If they can somehow play for 500, stay in the race, right up until American Thanksgiving or even Christmas, maybe they have a shot, right, to really stay there with the Sens and everything. But tough sledding for the first while. They don't have a very good schedule, I don't think, from what I remember. And then just overall father time, like yes, like they're going to be shorthanded, but older core, Krejci, 1 year away playing back home. So lots of question marks there. I'm not that concerned about the goaltending. It's average. It's not spectacular. It's average. But yeah, really, Boston, keep your fingers crossed. Hope you can stay in the race, and hope that old glory comes in to revisit you and rekindle some old magic to make one last run, because I don't think they have many more in them after this one.
Yeah, absolutely right about this. We welcome Zinnick Gaming. Welcome back. And then we wish a good night to Adam Barnes. Back to back about this.
Night,
Help
Alan.
for the top line for free stuff. A great comment about this one today. I agree with you. And then we're going to move on now to the next level of this next team. Let's go with the Buffalo Sabres. And, as for the X Factor, to be honest with you, but I think I want to go with Owen Power. Is a huge asset as a blue line. We already have Ramis Dallin. The rest are really young players. And think about Dallin. Dallin is only 24 years old. It's a really young player. So Owen Power could have a big impact for the Sabres. We know Doc, and Krabs and everybody else. But I think Owen Powers could be an X factor. What do you think about this one?
Listen, like he's a special player, so huge factor in them taking the next step for sure. The one variable I think that is important to keep an eye on is, in addition, it's similar to Anaheim, right? So you want the new young players that are coming in to come in and have that impact and be a factor, but you also need some repeat performances from guys that really gave it to you for last year, right? So are they going to be able, like like we were talking about Skinner earlier, right? Like he had the really good season for the first time in a while. Even though Poso had a good season, and then obviously Thompson, right? So that's the key, right? Is so can they continue to grow, and the guys that brought them a little bit of success last year, can they keep that going? That's really the key.
Yeah, they remind me a bit the Montreal Canadiens. The way where they really build the forward are great. The defensemen are too young, and the goaltenders struggle. So that's really exactly what they look like for the Buffalo Sabres, like compared to Montreal. And then Fritz talk about Jack Quinn. I think Quinn is another one, another big prospect over there.
Really
Peterka is another one for this one. And then Buffalo is really where is now Casey Middlestad. The young players never find his full expectation yet in NHL. And I want to apologize. I said 24 for Dallin. It was 22. So I want to be sure I got that one over there. And Andrew, Knight Andrew.
Going to be a fun team. Buffalo's going to be a fun team, though.
Yep. And then...
Do you like the old uniforms? Do you like that they're bringing back the... so they went back to the old uniforms. Now they're bringing back the head thing, like with the red eyes. Like, do you like that old logo, Coach, or do you prefer the original Buffalo jersey?
Well, I think the red black sound good to me, and they did very well when they have that kind of jersey. So maybe the success will be back with them. Again, it's a team can maybe hanging there, but how long? Is it 30 game, 40 game, 50 game, 60 game? When I said that, and the middle of the maybe a contender for one spot in the conference. So I don't know how long, but I don't see them to go all the way to make the playoff. I think they missed too much puzzle yet, a piece of the puzzle yet to become really a solid playoff team in NHL yet.
I don't like them at center that
much. Pretty good.
They need a center.
Yeah.
Oh, I think they just traded one, but they need a new one.
Calgary. One maybe, if I have to give a GM, a best GM of the summer, I would give it to him, to Brad Tavelin over there.
Easy.
The Huberdeau Kadri impact, honestly, because they came now from a couple of weeks ago with the team, I won't talk about their X factor. And I think for me, we can go, of course, they don't have a right winger on the same caliber of who they are. So we know we have Toffoli, Coleman, but I don't think so. This is the top best 20, 30 plus right winger in NHL anyway. So what is you think about X factor? Maybe you have other factor you want to talk about in this organization, the Calgary Flames.
Yeah, I think Enortap may have brought up this point a couple nights ago, but or maybe Andrew yesterday. To me, the X factor is gelling quickly, right? So lots of new pieces coming in. They have a short window here. Tree Living has not went all in, but pretty close. He's obviously wanting them to win here over the next couple of years. So not lots of time to tinker. If you're Sutter, you have the pieces. So how quickly can they gel? How quickly can, it's a very competitive, we've talked about it, the Pacific Division arguably right there with the Atlantic Division as one of the tougher divisions in hockey. So no time to have a slow start if you're Calgary. So I like them. I think they're probably superior as a team. But the X factor is how quickly you need a quick start. You need to be consistent because you can quickly fall behind in that division.
Yeah, absolutely right about this one there. I think Andy brings us under point. Sutter is a flame X factor. Honestly, he's right about this one there. We wish an amazing great night to Miss Kelly. She's leaving, and welcome William Sheffield back in the house tonight.
Hi, Kelly.
About this, and of course, Eternal Render. Welcome back, Eternal. Thanks to be with us. We talk about Huberdeau as another X factor of this one over there. The next one I want to talk about is the Carolina Hurricane. And I want to talk about the young scorer because now is going to miss for many months Max Pacioretty, honestly. And there was one questionable, and they lost, of course, Niederreiter is over 20 goals with them last season too. The lack of the productivity on offensive, the playoff was a little bit questionable over there. And I mentioned this as an X factor, the Kokanemi, the Jarvis, the Nikash, and the Chevnikov, and the reason why they are under 23 years old as a hockey player. So I want to mention to you, tell us what do you think about that kind of X factors?
Yeah, everything you said leads you to the question: will Carolina be one of the top teams for the Patrick Kane sweepstakes? Makes a lot of sense, considering Pacioretty's not going to be there for a long time. And they're also loaded. I talked about how Calgary is loaded for a run right away. Well, so is Carolina. Like, they have all the pieces. I think, Coach, we agree. Your favorite defenseman in the world plays for them, Jacob Slavin, but one of the most complete teams out there. So, yeah, I think you're right. X factor is a little bit of a void with some of the experience that they lost. Pacioretty on the IR. So, yeah, like, with those young guys, I have all the confidence in the world in Jarvis. I've yet to really see Natchez really kind of show it for consistent periods of time. I'm a KK fan. I think he's still a bit underrated. Hopefully he got stronger. To me, KK, it's all about balance. Just not able to keep his balance in puck battles and things like that. So hopefully he's stronger, ready to take that step. But like, Carolina really highly ranked in my favorites for this year. So really, it's just health. Just don't have things go horribly wrong, and you're going to be right there.
Yeah, really so right about this one over there. Will be interesting to see that how they're going to respond. Mr. Al Gondro or Grondo is in the house from British Columbia. He said, how is that sprayer to last year? Johnny Gaudreau 40 goal, it's Chucky 40 goal. And then he mentioned Max Storm 5.00 goal again with last 9 games. Yes, Al, you have 9 games. They played last season, 98 game. So we have 91, you have 89 game. Max Storm was at 2.40 with a save percentage over 0.920. It's like you're just focusing on 9 specific game, and you don't talk about the season completely, where the Calgary Flame was one of the top best 8, maybe 5 best team in NHL last season. So I can tell you, Huberdeau have 0 point in 7 game against the Boston Bruins, and that's not qualified the player as a bad players overall. On the flip side, I would say to you, we don't say Calgary is superior, but I believe with Wegar, Huberdeau, and a first-round pick versus Tkachuk, I think Calgary win on that trade long term. And then Kadri, that would just put that line center better overall. The only problem without Gaudreau is not going to be an impact inferior because they got Jonathan Huberdeau. Is only Tkachuk on the right winger where they're going to missing him versus Kadri now, but they satisfy the middle versus the right winger. They all maybe hope maybe Pelletier step up inside this organization for the upcoming year, and then another right winger like Toffoli or Coleman we talk about can get that kind of the spot right there.
You probably jump in at the end of it. Like, to me, like, you're right. They solidify the middle. And then fine, at the trade deadline, you go in and get a right winger to really kind of solidify
Well,
everything, right? So
for me, to fully, he have the capacity to score 30 goals in NHL.
yeah, yeah. Well, you're the one bringing up that there's an issue at right wing. So I think they're fine going through the season as is.
Yep.
And then if you feel like Pedce's not ready or whatever, go pick up a Joel Armia. Go pick up a right winger, so right hand shot to come in and complete that top nine, and you're good to go.
Yeah, absolutely right about this one over there. And we want to thanks, welcome in the house, Steve G from Colorado Avalanche. Welcome back in the house.
G.
By the way, to Carolina, we're going to finish with this one. Do you expect them another Jennings for them?
Yeah, why not? Like, just that Broad Brindamore is for sure in the top 3 coaches in the league, and they're just so relentless on the puck. It's nothing. It's not even systems, right? Like, it's not X's and O's with them that make them so effective. It's just they're just so on the puck and just in your face all the time. He's got them playing. They run through a wall for the guy, right? So yes, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely right. They have to go through the Oilers, unfortunately, for them to go through a little bit deeper about this one there. The Chicago Blackhawks will be quick. The X factor is Kane and Taze. I'm talking about the trade and maybe what they get in return or the possibility how many players they can get or be move on quickly with that part over there.
Yeah, they're tanking. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they can get from those pieces, and the really interesting part will be the draft for them this year.
The key for them is honestly when. That's the biggest question. We know we want to see when they're going to trade them and what they get in return. That will be honestly the right one about this one over there. Let's move on to Colorado Avalanche. And the Colorado Avalanche, guys, I want to talk about is Newhook and Biram as an X factor because they're losing the Kadri in the middle. They're losing the defense, maybe Girard, maybe not ready. And then they're losing another 25 goal, like Burakovsky was play center at some point. So they're losing. So some of them have to step up, like Newhook and Biram. Any other X factor, or you want to mention talking about them?
You're right. Like, the biggest hole is down the ice. Similar to what I just said about Calgary adding a piece more towards the end of the year, they'll evaluate kind of what Newhook, if he's able to come in and play center at the level that they need him to make another run. If not, then they'll go solidify that, because it's not like, obviously you've seen Sakic is okay with going in with not elite goaltending, but if that's the case, if you're going to continue that model, then you need to really solidify the center of the ice if you're going to continue to try to compete with that model. So yeah, I think you're right. I'm a huge Newhook fan. Really, really solid guy. Byram, we've talked about it even just yesterday with Andrew about his health concerns. So we'll see. Were they able to glue Girard back together again, like after the playoffs? He broke his sternum, right? So he literally broke in half. So I don't anticipate he'll be ready to go at the beginning of the year. So their depth is going to be tested this year. Lehkonen's going to have to play a bigger role to replace some of the scoring that they lost with some of the guys they lost. So should be interesting team to watch. Very entertaining to watch, though.
Awesome. And they talk about Lestagog, Gerald, that team. That's right. I think he's underrated as a captain, as a hockey player overall. We talk always McKinnon, McCarr, and Rantanen, but I think Lestagog is the one put all together. And then in our top talk about the goalie step up, need to be step up. You're absolutely right. It's a couple of questionable situation over there. Not say they are bad, because they have the offensive and they have kind of defensemen that are helping them, but they need the big save at the right time. So it'll be interesting to see that. Georgiev is really the one I'm looking for the first 2025 game in NHL this year. About it, who did Colorado lose to Seattle? Russian forward. Talk about Burakovsky, Andre Burakovsky. That's what they lose over there. Repeat factor is the X factor over there. I agree with you. Try to rock and roll a little bit faster because it's going to go a little bit later. Columbus is honestly my X factor is the team defense. Any comments about this and any other players? Of course, Johnny Gaudreau, we coming back, everything like this. Honestly, the Seliger, Johnson as a rookie. But the team defense is maybe not, and the goaltender is maybe not the best things for the Columbus Blue Jackets to be considered as maybe the top 5 best team in the Metropolitan at this moment?
Yeah, I don't think they're ready to really kind of jump up and take that step this year. Like they're going to be marginally better, but they listen, Columbus is it's similar to kind of what we were saying about Carolina, but they just don't have the same players. They have a very good identity, and they all, that's part of being a Columbus Blue Jacket is you back check hard, you play hard. So they'll get there. They just need a little bit more time. So to me, an X factor is like, okay, you're looking for this one thing to really succeed, but I think they're just part of their process, and they're not ready yet to really take that step.
Another reason I think Kirill Marchenko is going to be one of the great assets for them. We'll be interested in watching him. A lot of expectation is coming for Kirill over there, so it'll be good. Johnny Gaudreau is the best one. Kind of have to say out of their own zone. Yeah, so right. That's what my biggest question about this, Andy. I agree with you about this. I wish Badgie would be with us. Badgie, guys, is a great. If you reading all the comments on my videos every single day, Badgie always gave us like great comments. Marco, he's a big fan. He's a season ticket holder, by the way, for the Blue Jacket. I start talking with him a little bit back and forth. And do you know who is beside him every single game?
Is it a celebrity?
No, but is the dad of Jack Roslovic for the hockey player for the Blue Jackets. Yeah. So the dad just beside him. So we try to bring him on the show. Try to talk with Badgie, but talk about knowledge about hockey, like Stratic and the people we have in the chat. You guys, everybody, many of you have a good knowledge. He's really good. You have a chance to watching his comments on the. You have a couple of people on the. Leave a lot of great comments on the video, so I'm very pleased to have him, and he's a big fan, of course, of the Blue Jacket. Lenny need to step up with Gaudreau, yeah, for sure. By the way, how is going, guys? Mr. SC is in the house. Talk about the brother back in the house. Welcome back in the brothers. Roger, welcome. As a big question about this one, Al, I think the questionable again is all about the goaltender, and you can see that one over there. The people talk about this in the chat. Mezeklin and Copisalo is a big one over there. Dallas Star, and I'm talking about the second line. I'm talking about Tyler Seguin because Seguin became now the second center and is the highest pay salary cap, and his productivity with hip injury, surgery, blah blah blah. Never been the Tyler Seguin, and I think Dallas cannot go nowhere without Tyler Seguin. In my eyes, you have maybe other things, but what do you think about this X factor?
Yeah, like they're in a tough spot because of Ben and Seguin in terms of the cap space. But in my opinion, Coach, if you look at their prospect pool, they are doing a masterful job at the classic retool on the fly. They're doing a really good job at that. Like, I think if they can somehow move out one of those deals, even just one of them, then I don't see them. Like, I look at, say, San Jose, right, which was just never able to really understand when it was time to rebuild. And, they just kind of kept trying to win, and Doug Wilson has just kept hanging on. Dallas, I think, is doing a much better job at, you keep these veterans, but they have a lot of really good talent coming up, and I think they're going to be more successful. So to me, the X factor is those are almost immovable contracts, unfortunately, Seguin and Ben, especially because of their health concerns, unless you give away the farm. So continue this retool on the fly, find creative ways to bring in cheap young talent, and just hope Ottinger is going to show you more of what he showed you in the first round last year.
Yeah, absolutely right about this one over there. I agree with you. And Ron with King said, Ottinger X Factor. Danny, have a good night. Ottinger almost stole the series again himself. You're absolutely right about this one over there.
Unreal.
Strong backhand. And I think Eskinen could become that one where they're going to become a solid players at the end. For the maybe top 5 defensemen in NHL about him. And then I would said to you, Dallas is another team where they are they cannot get out of the middle of the pack. And when I'm talking about this, remind me a lot of Montreal Canadiens between the 14 to 20, and they're still there. They make the playoff. They not make it barely. They make the playoff, but they cannot go on the top 10, or they have to go on the bottom to come back stronger, better. And that's one of the things right now. I think that's why I see them for maybe 1 or 2, 3 more years with bad contract, unfortunately for the older player like Seguin and Ben with injury. And that's something they have to change at some point, figure out like a little bit like the San Jose Sharks remind me a lot of that kind of players got on the team.
Do you think Stankoven will stick with those guys this year out of training camp?
I'm sorry?
Stankoven? Do you think he might be able to jump in, have an impact?
Yeah, possible. It could happen about this for sure. Let's go to the likes. Let's move on to the next one over there. And Detroit, the goalie tandem. Nedenkovic, and now they got Ville Husso and Anderson. They got, Chariot, Perron, and they signed a couple of free UFA and Anderson, that part of there. But at the end of the day, the Cedars, the Edvinson now, the Lucas Raymond, the Larkin, I can go all the way like this, right? But I think it would have to come for the performance of goaltender. If not, the last 6 weeks of the season, at the end of the year, it was painful to watching the Detroit. If everybody thinking Montreal was bad, Detroit was maybe the worst team in NHL in the last 6 weeks overall with the performance night after night, gave a lot of goals. So what do you think about this?
I'm drawing a blank. Did they make a coaching change this summer?
Yes, they did. They bring Danny Lalonde, the coach for the assistant coach for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Tampa Bay.
So that's good. So to me, that is the X factor: is new turning the page here, building a new culture with all this new core that they have, and really kind of putting that together. To me, goaltending is like, I don't have a concern with it. It's slightly above average, I would say. They have good depth as well too. So I think the goaltending is fine. It's really the X factor is like the continued development of that young core that's coming up, and Lalonde coming in and hopefully bringing some of that Tampa Bay Lightning juju to the team, and giving it a bit more structure, because it had been a while, man, that they needed a coaching change. I think in Detroit, they were just waiting, for them to be ready and give the new guy a good opportunity to start fresh with a group.
Yeah, some people talk about Raymond Bertuzzi. A great comment here, free. And then I'll talk about the huge step forward. You're absolutely right about this. You shouldn't be a fan of the Detroit Red Wings, should be happy. Andrew Copp could be kind of the culture over there. I agree with you. And then the one player they need to figure out whatsoever, they gave him a 3 years contract at $1.8 million. Philip Zadina is the one right there. Vrenat need to be healthy. That's a big factor over there. You're absolutely right about this one over there.
Oh yeah, one other one too is, will Bertuzzi be able to play games in Canada this year? That's a pretty big X factor.
Yeah, would be interesting for that. Edmonton, I could go with front player Kane and all the Campbell and everything like that. I went with with the head coach Jay Woodruff. Got a new contract, became interim to the full time, and the way he did at the end of the year over there. And I think for me, it's the X factor, like many other coaches. But what do you think about the X factor for Edmonton Oilers?
So my X factor for them is not relying on McDavid and Draisaitl to win. So if they want to go far in the playoffs, they need to learn how to win as a team. We all know the classic. Yzerman, went through the metamorphosis with Scotty Bowman and decided to bring down his point totals. So like that whole story, right? Are we going to see something like that with McDavid? Is he going to be willing to not play 20 minutes, not do 2 minutes of power play, things like that, right? So total team, arguably the best team that they've ever put forward in the last 10 years, I think, in terms of depth. So will McDavid and Draisaitl buy into that and allow for a more total team concept that will affect their production, but in the end, allow them to learn how to win as a team during the regular season so that they can apply those lessons more consistently during the playoffs. To me, that's the biggest X factor.
Awesome. We have a lot of great comments in the chat from Andy and our tap and free stop. But that one I want to mention to you, I think Al nailed it very well. It's showtime. Allen has to go all in, and then if has to trade pick prospect 3 window to get it done. Simple as that. I think he's possibly is right. Like they cannot wait longer. They have to step up right now.
No.
They are everything they need to get a little bit farther in the playoff. And I think they need something bigger at the trade deadline. They have to get there. I think he's right about
Yeah.
this one. I think a ball adjustment to a new team is Skinner been very inexperienced as the bigger unknown about this. Of course, he's another one, but I think Campbell's going to be fine with the kind of offensive they have. The defense could be a problem at some point, but I think overall would be great. Would be okay for them. X Factor for the Panthers. I won with X Factor is Paul Maurice, new coach, new friend system, new voice, and 9 new players going to wear this new jersey, the Panthers, and that's my biggest concern, honestly. But what do you think about the X Factor and maybe something else?
The biggest X factor for me, like I mentioned earlier, I think Bill Zito. I'm not saying he's throwing in the towel for this season, but I think consciously as a group, they realize that they're taking a bit of a step back this year, so that for the long haul and the long term, they're going to be better off. So to me, the X factor in terms of them being successful is somehow finding enough depth on that blue line to stay competitive and healthy to make it in what is the most competitive division in all of hockey in the Atlantic Division. They're going to have to play at least, like 600 hockey or at least over 500 hockey against the Atlantic Division if they want to make the playoffs. So I'm concerned about their depth. So the X factor is will Bill Zito's gamble for this 1 year, can they still at least make the playoffs and make it respectable, and then build from that with Kachuk as the centerpiece and Barkov moving forward.
Yep. And I'll talk about Spencer Knight, by the way, so it'll be interesting about him for sure. We had the Los Angeles King. I'm talking about the kids. I think you talk about a couple of years ago, like 3-4 years ago, they turn around to be the rebuild a lot. They draft Turcotte, the Byfield. They got Thursday, and now they got Kaliev, and they have Farmington, Thomas, and I can go all the way to people playing American Hockey League, and they step up. The Brain Clark is on the 1/8 overall pick. And I think for me, that's what they are. We already know with Fiala, Kapitar. Now we have the captain left the team and retire, and then Quick and Pedersen and the defenseman over there, Doughty. But for me, it's really the kid have to support that kind of next level for the King. What do you think about this X Factor or something else?
I think the X Factor is, will people be energized by Dustin Brown's new statue and let that kind of ride the whole season? That or the fact that their goaltending is probably the one thing I'm worried about, right? Like Jonathan Quick, that groin has seen a lot of action over with how the style that he plays. So goaltending is an X factor there. I agree that, Byfield and what's going on with Turcotte? Like, is he really going to be a thing? So yeah, so that's a huge factor. But listen, I don't know if you saw the Knuckles podcast had Brendan Gallagher as a guest, and he was using LA as an example of how sometimes a rebuild doesn't have to be that long, and he was using LA as an example that like LA thought their rebuild was going to be really long, but then they forced management to go out and sign a Kevin Fiala, right? So they're forcing their hand. So should be interesting, but goaltending is going to be the big one. So that
sounds good. And they talk about Florida, the team chemistry, or it could be in the trouble over there. Night could become a problem for good for the Panthers. Sussex still concerned about Soup. And then free stuff talk about Sean Thursday, great defenseman over there. Ron, big fan of the King, talk about the X Factor, the Fiala, and the power play. X Factor is the silver helmet. About this one over there, that's a good one. And then
ugly
for Al Gunn, this is right. They are really impressive team over there, the Ontario. reign over there. They have a lot of great players over there.
Oh yeah.
Consistency for in our top for the Kings. And you can consider Game 7 with Edmonton without Doughty. Not bad at all. You're absolutely right about this. I think there's a team could again continue to surprise like they did last season. They have a mix of the young and the veteran players, and what you have Dano Capital in the middle that helping them, and then you add Fiala with Advidson. That's a great team. The Minnesota Wild, Boldy, Rosie, and Anderson, all my X factor, all almost 3 rookies. Anderson defenseman. That's the reason they trade at Kulikov.
Super Chat.
Super chat! First one of the night, Roger! Mr. Reggie from British Columbia! Chop, chop, chop! Reverse! Super chat number 1 of the night. Thanks so much, Mr. Reggie Pucker. Thanks so much. Very nice of you. We appreciate a lot. Getting there, Mr. Marko, you dance. And the X Factor of the Minnesota Wild.
I have to revert my focus back after that one. Like it's a weird situation. The Wild there, like Bill Guerin came in, did a great job last year. They bought out Suter and Parise, and they knew it was going to hurt this year, but they were able to really have a great season last year and overachieve. But now it's time to pay the piper, and they're paying those cap penalties for Parise and for Suter. So they're going to need these young guys to come in, and if they hope, like that top line, I think, just really performed so well last year for them. So yeah, Rossi to me is somebody, hopefully he stays healthy. Very Madonna, chop chop. It's kind of like a Vogue that I did instead of chop chop. Yeah, so that's going to be important for them, is Rossi and Boldy to stand up, because they lost a lot of cap space.
Yeah, so right about this one there. And I'll talk about Zuccarello and Hartman. And then Dalbot lost his job. Yep, went to the Ottawa. And then Wallstead, it will come very soon. Eternal, not right now ready for them. The next one, we'll talk about the Montreal Canadiens. We know we can talk forever with them, the center, the defense, the young guns. Take one of the 3 subjects I just put there. And of course, we're going to talk about them a little bit later during the weekend anyway. So just keep up over there.
Yeah, tune in on Sunday. We'll talk all about it. But to me, the X factor is the young guns, for sure.
That's awesome. We can go from the next thing about that one over there. We're now going to, because we're going to talk about a little bit later, the veteran Nashville. What I'm talking about how they can repeat. The Zaros now is a veteran with them. The Hosey, they have the G-Shine, the Hohenson. Ken Forsberg can become another 40 goal over there. And that's what I'm talking about, the veterans, all right? I'm talking about the one carry on that team. Now they have a great additional, great winger, Nino Niederreiter. I think could become a major impact over there. Then the young Ken, the Jano, can he continue what he built over there? The Tomanicino, can he continue what he did last season? So that's what I'm talking about, the X factor for them. Pick one of them if you want to.
I think the X factor with them is, remember I was talking about San Jose and how they never recognized the time to rebuild and to kind of retool on the fly. Nashville is right there. So, this is the year, like, you're going to have to kind of make some decisions there, because I don't know where that's going after this year. They don't have enough young talent to come in and kind of keep things fresh on that team, in my opinion. So this to me is kind of like a make it or break it kind of year. I don't think they have the team to really make it, to be like, I don't view them as a competitor, as like a true contender or anything. So this is a team that needs to kind of, excuse the expression, poop or get off the pot when it comes to kind of where they are with their development, right? You have so much money locked in with Johansson and Duchesne and players like that. Like, I find it's a very San Jose Sharks, Doug Wilson kind of vibe that I'm getting from Nashville.
Yep. 24-25 hours is going to morning become a day. You're absolutely right about this one there. The health is another great point for the Nashville in our top. And he's looking for Sapkowski for the upcoming year in the future. William Snyder, welcome in the house. William, Oops, sorry about that. William, welcome back. Talk about New Hook moving up second line. I think they will let GD cover at the beginning. Then New Hook is going to maybe jump in there. Well, what's wrong, the matter? It does not get there. Here we go, William Snyder. Got it. I agree with Al. Izaro was 6'4", maybe the top best goaltender in NHL. If he was,
Yeah.
Izaro was taller, it would be really 2.0. Cannot get playing zero that much. That's the point. And RG talk about 34 likes. We appreciate all the likes we got tonight. Whatsoever, we don't have a lot of people in the chat. We appreciate each one of you. It's all about equality. New Jersey, my X factor is the goaltender over there. I think they have all the tools for the at least top 9 players. The defensemen may be shaky, but Marino now with Hamilton and Severson, and that way, that thing they'll be fine. But the goaltending with Blackwood and Vanecek they just signed could become one way or two another way.
Yeah, that's really like I don't know if it's an X factor, but it's certainly the biggest question mark is their goaltending. X factor, I think, is Jack Hughes's health. If he can stay healthy the whole season, then I think one of your over/under questions from last week or whatever was Jack Hughes over under 100 points. He was definitely kind of point per game wise, like heading in that direction. So let's keep Jack healthy and see if the rest of the young talent that they're building around him works well. But goaltending, biggest question mark for sure.
Yeah, absolutely right. Poutine Lazar in the house, by the way. Welcome back in the house. Will be interesting what the New Jersey are going to be. I have a difficult time to put them where in the standing on the Metropolitan Division right now. They have a lot of great. This team maybe is. They remind me a little bit the Ottawa Senator last season. So what I said, like the Ottawa diving this year, right? They get like the Brincat, Giroux, and now the New Jersey are at the 1 point there, almost there with Palat, and I think they can add maybe a goaltender or they can add a little bit better forward or defenseman. I think that will be a strong team. They have a lot of great prospects. We don't talk yet with them. They are not there. Alexandre Oz, the defenseman, Medet Dulinin is another great defenseman. It may be ready next 2 years. So Devil is on the right direction. Then your calendars, I put one word here. It's all about the Barzell impact. Mathieu Barzell have only 3 goals in power play for the last 2 years. And coach impact with everybody in New Jersey. Lula Mariello first mentioned everybody want out Barry Trotz because they want to change the system. So that's the reason I put the head coach over there, Lane Lambert, as a system-wise, everything like that. What do you think about the Islanders?
Yeah, I think you nailed it. Like, obviously they needed a bit of a new voice. You can't really give them the same excuse that Montreal had about being flat after last year. They had a little bit more time off, but it's really inexplicable kind of how terrible they were last year. I know they had their share of injuries and everything, but which team is it? Team that went to the semifinals 2 years in a row, or is it last year? Lou really seems to think that last year is just a fluke and that they have all the pieces there. So, to me, the X factor is which team is it? Is it the team from last year, or is it the team? Because it hasn't changed very much. So, but Barzell, you're right. Like, I'm not he has so much talent, right? But not really the most complete player, and his production. If you're going to be a pure offensive guy, then you better produce at a high level. He doesn't produce at that elite level, and he's not that reliable both sides of the puck, especially now that Trotz is not there to force him to do it, right?
Yeah. I think the 13 game on the road, first of all, the COVID-19 killed them, the health killed them, and then when they find back, they was the top best 10 team in NHL the last 2 months of the year. They was the most point. You can see they finished with 84 points. You never see Islanders all year long in the standing, but at the end they finished 5th. So I think overall that team is better what we think they are. I think they're only talking because they don't set up anybody this summer, and I think they believe they got Romanov now. I think that team is better of what the people are thinking. It's just like New Jersey, the Columbus, the Washington, you know what I mean? Like that division is strong, of course, and that would be difficult for them. But I think
Sorokin
overall,
though.
it's not a bad team.
Yeah.
And on top, talk about the confidence about Blackwood. Yes, that's unfortunately that's what happening about this one. And it was for Piquet Subban not allow Al so to get up over there. He just get out an injury and on top, you absolutely right, Luciano. Do you think the cadre will be excited? Yes, we talked about this a bit earlier, William. And general manager fired the old man. Is not is everybody talk about him? Honestly, who take the bull by the horns? The goaltender over there. And then maybe the old man have some magic for the Islanders. Time for the move on. Amlu, I will go after Timo Meyer. Brazil need a partner. Excuse me for not running the team. Although I just read it, not a problem, William. We've been there. Scary thought that others have the 16th pick year and could add Brazil a trade away for the third role for the Green Fin.
Oh, yeah, that's painful.
Yeah. The New York Rangers, the young kids, guys. I'm talking about everybody talk about Capo, Lafreniere, Shedil. I think we have to put now the Schneider, the Andre K. Miller. That's another one. Adam Fox is only 23 years old. That's another one over there. And so that's what we talk about the young kids. How they're going to react for the upcoming year with experience in the playoff. I think this team is better what we think. And they got Trocheck and as a UFA, Goldender, Alak, and Louis Domingue is joined the team. But the same quads, the core is still there. Nothing changed overall. They're still missing a right winger in my eyes, but who knows what could happen with Patrick Kane.
Yeah, I think nothing to add here on this one, Coach. Like it's the X factors is just continue moving the same direction. Hope that Kako and Lafreniere continued, maybe take a little bit more of a role and a little bit more production. Yeah, there you go. See production and development. So exactly free stuff. Condre Miller is a very special player, like really eating up all those minutes, and it makes a who's the right-handed D again behind Schneider that was rumored? Was it
Trouba?
Lundqvist, right? So Lundqvist might even be disposable because of how stacked they are with Schneider kind of jumping ahead of him. So just all good news, they're such a solid organization.
Definitely.
Let's hope Jeff Gordon can build something like that over here in Montreal.
Gallant is great coach too. Absolutely right about this. Lafreniere is Trocheck. Yes, John Gibson say Anaheim for this moment about this micro love. Thanks for the line, everyone. Keep it coming. Hit the Lowe's line, Luciano. Thank you so much. The Ottawa Senator, let's move on a little bit. For me, it's the blue line.
Yeah, 100%. Still not, I don't think Zaitsev in that spot is going to do it. If you're really, really wanting to make a push, you need that other right-hand D for sure. And Pinto, is Pinto really who they think he is? Because they're going to need him to be if they really want to push for the playoffs.
The forward is pretty good about this one. The top 9 is pretty good, honestly. Drake Patterson's another one, right? But some people, I don't know if it was Luciano, someone talk about the chemistry, how they can feel they can fit that team all together. And I think could be the one we may be looking for, but the defenseman could be the one really have the problem.
And center. Is Tutsla really a center? He's never really played a full year as center, right? So really you've got Josh Norris, that's a proven center. Then after that, okay, you're hoping Stutzla is a center. You're hoping Pinto's who you think he is. So that's your top 3 centers that you're not really, other than the first one that you're not 100% sure about yet.
I'll talk about Golov, that top 6, that bad it would be. And Ottawa talk does Chinkron land in Ottawa. I would say to you, if Ottawa offer Pinto, Backstrom, and the first round pick for Chinkron, do you say yes or no?
If I'm Ottawa, sorry, who did you have in there? Pinto,
Brandstrom, the defenseman, and the first round pick, 2023.
I do no, because he's a left-hand D, and you need a right-hand D. Does he right? I think he does play right. So really the guy. Like if you're gonna move, because Sanderson's gonna play left, so I just don't think they need another left-handed D. He's not really the guy that they should go after. They need a right-handed top four D
Yeah, but they will
that can
cost you a
solidify
lot of
them.
money. They don't have any money anymore. So for me, Chinkran, if become really one at $4 million for the next 3 years, I think a good asset for them.
As
And
long
he
as he
could
can
play
play on the
like
right
Brody
side,
play in
right?
Toronto. They plays two left defensemen with
Yeah.
Riley and
Oh yeah, like it can be done. It can be done for sure. It's not they wouldn't be the first team to have two left-handed Ds, but just make sure that you're not putting Jake Sanderson on his weak side. Just make sure that he can, that's he can do that. You want Chikrin to do it, not you want to put Jake Sanderson in the best position to succeed, right? So don't have him playing on his weak side in his first year in the NHL.
yeah, I think Luciano, you have a good point. Is running to the Ottawa is rushing this rebuild too quickly. Bunch a good player through together, and they are assuming they're gonna work. Um, I like for me, Luciano, what he did. I think they are better direction like Toronto did in the past because they don't have anybody at even, and they are not squeezed like they are like Toronto at this moment. And I think like they can find a right defenseman or another defenseman. This team is really more balanced what they are, and you know what? It's going to be like a wave because if it's not Norris, it's going to be Susla. It's not Susla, it's going to be Pimento. And that's only the four line is maybe something you have maybe make some adjustment over there, but you still have Austin Watson over there to figure out there. But overall, there's going to be a wave of productivity goal. They remind me a lot of Florida Panthers 2 years ago. That's
Or
what
the
I
guy,
feel
they
they are.
remind me of more of the Islanders. Like the Islanders are kind of, I think that's what Bergevin was trying to recreate with his team with Toffoli, like with Stahl, was really like four lines that can just kind of roll over and over and over, right? So it's kind of the New York Islanders model. Four lines, roll them out.
Yep, will be interesting to follow this for sure. The flatter field are that is easy. The flowers I put Tortorella over there, and he going to he's some fire is going very soon over there for sure. It's already started anyway.
I'd say Carter Hart's also an X factor for Philly.
Yeah, about this one over there. You're absolutely right, Luciano, about Ottawa. I think they want to get this quicker, faster, better, for sure, compared to Montreal, maybe a little bit longer for that one over there. Tony D'Angelo under the reputation. Philadelphia is all about Carter Hart for an attack. We're going to move on because we try to get out quicker, faster here. Pittsburgh, and for me, it's age curve. Sullivan is underrated. I feel me is the best top three coach in NHL on many level. But again, the age curve all there right now whatsoever. Everybody was thinking Letton will be out, Ross will be out, Malkin will be out, and everybody back. And now they are the same boat they was before that. Can they continue what they perform whatsoever? They are 1 year older, and many of them, the best, are over 35 years old.
Yeah, to me, the X factor is similar to Boston, but they're kind of Boston, but in a much better position, right? Like the old gang getting back together for one last serious kick at the can. Just the only thing with Pittsburgh is that they're actually going to start the year together instead of Boston. So to me, that's the biggest factor is everybody focused, a good supporting cast to support that core team or that core group to go and try to get one last one.
I think for me is like they are not a bad spot. When I said that, if you think about this, Marco, is one you because I started to do my prediction. Okay, Carolina Rangers are 1-2 team over everybody else on that division, and then you regroup Pittsburgh, Washington, Columbus, and New Jersey and Islanders. Example, they fit well Pittsburgh between all those teams, so they make the playoff. I think they are whatever they are older, their chance is maybe better. What they still great.
Yeah, like I put them in the top three. They finished third in the Atlantic, or sorry, in the Metro. and maybe they play Rangers again, right? So pretty tight series, like against the Rangers last year. I would pay to see another Rangers Pittsburgh series in round one. I think Pittsburgh is probably deeper than last year, though, to face the Rangers. So
Injuries could be
I'd
the
pay to see that
problem
one.
with that. That's maybe the stay healthy. That'll be the best thing about this one with that. Because they'll take a team by surprise run with Kings. Yeah, because Eric Carlson production. Here we go. The Meyer, the hurdle, the GM impact, is it good enough? We know they got the first black man as a GM in NHL. And then
Michael Greer.
the
Mike Greer.
contract the contract situation with Meyer is another problem over there. And their team really, when I typed this, I was okay. This team is remind me one maybe the worst past three with Chicago, Arizona, Philadelphia, and San Jose. They are maybe the worst where they don't know direction yet with older players, the older contract, and so
Terrible.
that's what they are. I don't know. I was trying to maybe thinking, Marco, the intensity of this team. What kind of the team we are, and after they are right now the after the Thornton, the Marlowe, and those kind of players was there for years, and now they have to move on with the new one, and they still look for some answer, I believe.
You remember the show during Christmas, Scrooge, where the ghost of Christmas past come visit you and haunt you on Christmas Eve? That's the San Jose Sharks. Like the past is over. They're being haunted by all the very, very poor decisions that Doug Wilson did. Listen, like they were competitive for a long time. Like remember that series, how close they were
Oh yeah.
against Vegas, and listen, they were right there. I don't blame Doug Wilson for doing what he did, but you could have done it a little bit more strategically and still kind of like had something for the future. But Mike Greer, who's the new GM that you were mentioning, he's got a hell of a job ahead of him now to kind of put something together. So it doesn't surprise me that somebody like would like that. That's going to be a hot asset. You think Josh Anderson would be a popular asset with GMs? Wait until you see what they would do for Timo Meyer. He's going to be critically important asset for whoever can get him. So to me, the X factor is how quickly can Mike Greer just absolutely dynamite this whole thing to little bits and just that expression, coach, like whatever you're doing in hockey, be doing it fast. Either get good really fast or get bad really fast. Just don't stay in the middle doing nothing. That's where San Jose is.
Yeah, it's the bad contract when you look about Carlson, Vasic, and they never recover for me when they let it go, Pavelski.
Pavelski,
I think
agreed.
they
Yeah,
never been the same team anymore. And Kutcher is
he's
another
the
bad
total
contract
soul.
at $8 million, and they had to figure out with Meyer. And would be very interesting. The best thing for them is Vlasic can become a long-term major reserve at some point. That's the only thing I'm thinking. Carlson also, another one.
Yeah.
It's a team not going nowhere at this moment. The Seattle Kraken, more goal. And of course, after that, Bernier and Wright. They got Backstrom, they got Parakoski, and I could add their defensemen still not great over there overall. What your expectation, X factor for the San Jose Sharks? Yeah, we're going to push a bit longer tonight, if you don't mind. And we're going to, it's about 5 more teams to go anyway.
Yeah, real quick. I mean, the X factor is flash and dash, right? Like Seattle's first season was just so boring and nothing was happening. So this year, bring a little excitement to that fan base. The X factor is more balance, more goals. They very similar to Carolina. They play really hard and they're in your face in all 3 zones. So good fundamentals. I'm not a huge Hackstall fan, but for the first year they played really hard. Just it's going to be more fun to watch. Like chemistry, it's going to be entertainment value.
Great comment for Stratic. The X Factor, John and Korber. Al have a great one over there too. You're absolutely right. They get better at the end for sure. Sound like an tap. Will Wright be in the lineup? I think he will be there Winnipeg Suicidal
Yeah.
is Eberle Schwartz and Don Squee. Don Squee is really one. But when you look about this, it remind me a lot of the Montreal Canadiens on some point in the last couple of years. Olechek, Don, Lawson, Schultz, Soucy, and Borgen. Good defenseman,
Yep.
but not great defenseman. Does it make sense? Like not the one you
Okay.
can consider like an amazing great defenseman over there. But I'm telling you right
Pittsburgh
now,
won cups. Yeah.
they have a lot of defensemen 3 and 4. Soucy, Schultz, Lawson, Dunn, and Olechek.
Yeah,
That
that was the best thing they did in their expansion draft. They got a lot of D. I guess they looked at Vegas's expansion draft and thought that that was going to be the currency that they would be able to flip because it is hard to find good defensemen, whether they're 3 and 4 defensemen, but they haven't really flipped any of them. Like they're still Flurry, in their system. Like so, yeah, they went really heavy on defensemen in their expansion draft,
yeah.
and maybe they'll flip some of them. We'll see.
I think they need more for KK and Don Squee for upcoming year. If they want to have a better year overall about that one. They're great comments, everybody. Let's move on. The next one is the St. Louis Blues, and I go with one. I think this all now they gave up everything on his hands. They trade or they let go Villiers, so they trade him anyway. And now it's all about Bennington. They lost David Perron, but still the core is there. The defenseman, the forward, Mose, the Tarasenko. They gave a big contract to Thomas, but for me, it's Bennington. I just feel like he's the guy need to carry on that team on his shoulder if they want a better year overall.
100% agree. Like, it's a very honest team with winning pedigree. Coach is still really working well with the team there, so he's really the key to things either going well or not. I don't think Tarasenko is an important piece, but they have so much balance, and they have some good prospects coming
Oh
too.
yeah,
So
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
I think
That
yeah, they'll be
it's
fine.
a team has always been a great building foundation over there. They don't do some splash, but they not what I mean. Like I think for me it would be the next contract of Rand O'Reilly. That would be the biggest thing over there. Tampa
Mm.
Bay for me is about the next man up. What you said about this now. Every year for the last 3 years, you talk about Johnson left, and then they always losing 1 or 2 because of salary cap. They remind a lot of Chicago Blackhawks, but always someone step up or they bring on the table at the traded line to make that team still compete. This year, now they lost Rand McDonough and Jan Ruta, and they lost Oleg Palat. On the young side, you have Sergachev, you have Colton, Agel, and Nick Paul. And then you're
Foot,
the veteran at the
foot.
bottom, the Belmar, the Perry, and the Maroon. And for me, it's next man up. Who's going to step up for that team for the upcoming year? They always find a way to make something special over there. I don't know what you think about the X Factor in Dallas and the Tampa.
The X factor for me is recuperation, right? Like they've been on a lot of long runs in the last, but they made it to the other than the being in the finals for the last 3 years. Even before that, they were in the semifinals. It's a lot of mileage. So, their therapist, their therapeutic staff, hopefully has been all over that because to me that's the X factor is are they ready for another run? Because yeah, they'll Julien Brisebois will find a way to find extra little pieces. The core is still really there. They lost some pieces, but so just are the bodies going to be
As
able to
September
recuperate quick enough?
is over, do you believe they go down or they still be the top 8 team or maybe top 10?
Yeah, I think they'll be top 10 for sure. Like, I don't see any way with Vasilevsky back there. I just don't see them. They're quite a few years away from that.
I think with the Bulls Golden Day, you can build a confident team. You're absolutely right about this. Toronto is a goaltender. I put Murray, I could put Samsonov. Honestly, that's what I believe is the X factor. I don't know if you have anything else to add about this.
There's a lot of X factors. Psychiatrist, sports psychologist would be like a X factor. Like, can they really the only thing standing other than what we talked about earlier that yes, they could use a little bit more grit in the top six, not at the bottom of the lineup. Ultimately, though, it's in their heads. Like that's the X factor. Can they get out of their own heads and conquer those demons? if they have to sacrifice a goat, or I don't know what it is, some kind of voodoo that they need to do to get past the first round. But I think at this point it's really psychological with that team, right? So that's the biggest X factor.
Another great comments. I like the last one. Dubas is maybe the X factor. So he absolutely right about this. Eternal, great comment. Free and Eternal. In our tap and Mr. Al Vancouver Canucks. I put Elias Pettersson. I can go with many directions like Bruce Boudreau, Quinn Hughes, new contract, Bowser, and everything like Miller. But you have so many X factor over there, and I think we need when you look about the standing, it's another team I think could become another big team in itself this year.
Yeah, X factor for me is one of the things surprisingly that made them more competitive than I thought they would be was they were actually really solid on goals against. You don't think of Vancouver as a goals against team that that is going to be in the top 10. I think they finished top 10. Now that's probably a little bit to do more with Demko than the total system play. But so to me, I think there's enough offense there. They've added some depth. so Demko and keeping that goals against in the top 10 of the league, and I think they'll be right there fighting with I think Vegas for the wild card.
Defenseman is my problem for them at this moment.
Me too, but somehow they managed to have really good goals against last year.
Yeah. Goalies and Eichel and Stone are my X factor for Vegas Golden Knight.
Yeah, for sure. Goaltending, to me, those are the biggest question marks. But X factor is can they get that same team spirit and chemistry and energy and feeling that they had in year one that made them special? Right now, we were talking about WWE characters earlier. They're now the villain of the WWE and the NHL, right? So can they put it back together and get that team, maybe because everybody kind of is hating Vegas a little bit now for whatever reason, maybe that's something that gets that team to kind of say it's us against the world and get that old feeling back. To me, that's the X factor, recapturing that feeling from the first season so that they can gel together and do that. Because there's still a lot of question marks otherwise.
Absolutely right. I think I could put Bruce Cassidy there too. I think he's under one over there. And the Toronto Maple Leafs, Toronto Blue Jays won 4-3 tonight. Thanks so much, RJ, about this.
Awesome.
I want nice to be a good maybe, William. Awesome. A Gallant Fleury this year, off-season move, X-factor management move. That's a great point here, Al, about this one there. The Washington Capitals, injury, new players. So I'm talking about the Wilson, and I'm talking about Backstrom, going to miss a couple of months at the beginning. The new player, the Strom, the Connor Brown, the Darcy Kumper. Is it good enough to keep the Capitals in the same spot they were without Backstrom and Wilson?
I don't think so. I think they'll be right there fighting for a wild card, but Dylan Strome is a huge downgrade from Backstrom, right? Like it's not even the same universe. I don't think decent player, right? But I don't think it's the same kind of guy here. So, and then you have Mantha, who's really having problems staying healthy as well. So, yeah, like the Caps, I'm not sure. Like the window is closing very rapidly for them. I'm not sure they get there. It's going to be really tight. Like you're talking about teams like Columbus, the Islanders, New Jersey. They're going to be hot on the heels of the Caps, I think, this year.
I think for the pool tonight, I could go with which team was in the playoffs going to be out? Nashville, Boston, Washington, Pittsburgh, and then any other team. Yeah, I think that would be a good question about this. And finally, we get there, Mr. Marko. Thanks for your time tonight, by the way. The Winnipeg Jet, Rick Bonus, a new system, new coach over there, is a team. We talk about San Jose Sharks. They are not still there, but it's a team right now. You talk about the middle of it's another great year last year, 89 point, whatever it was. But not good enough to become the top 10 or the top 12 in NHL, and they're still in the middle of the pack without Paul Stastny. And then a lot of questionable move during the offseason. The interim coach and Mike Sheffley, the Blake Wheeler. It's a mess over there. I don't know. It's not. I don't want to consider a mess, but yeah, something there. It's not looking great. That's maybe my best way I can describe this.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. That's why they brought in Rick Bowness. He's kind of like the Mr. Rogers of hockey, right? Like positive guy, put on his slippers in the morning and keep everybody nice and calm. So we'll see. We'll see if he can bring that attitude back to Winnipeg. The other X factor would be just Hellebuck, right? Like they need to find a way to manage his minutes a little bit. His body's going to start to wear down. Like remember there's when Price, recently, there was news about his health again, and everybody was complaining, oh, we wasted Price in his prime years. Well, this is Hellebuck prime years right now, right? Like, so if you think you're not there to compete right now with Winnipeg, then just scale them back a little bit this year until you're ready to. If you make a couple moves, if you can somehow move out Wheeler, free up some space, and kind of retool on the fly a bit, why don't you just give Hellebuck a bit of a breather this year, play him like 50 games? I don't think they're gonna compete for a Stanley Cup this year. So that's a big X factor.
I think they're not going nowhere yet. I think they are not. Mona's got a lot of mileage for the Dallas. Maybe the same with Winnipeg. Exactly what I was going to say. The locker room, soap opera in Winnipeg. It'll be funny, but more you talk, more I was thinking about this way. I think for the Winnipeg Jet, Blake Wheeler is a little bit of Jimmy Benn and the total, you know what I mean, like $8 million to say have one more year after that, but maybe trade him for low situation. But I think for them, the Nicolas Eller and the Kyle Connor with Pierre-Luc Dubois should be my three core players at this organization. Does it make sense? Right now, they have a one problem in NHL. No one have a goaltender. Are you agree with me? Like everybody, most of the team looking for goaltender. I think for me, it would be the year to trade Hellebuck at the trade deadline or somehow to get three players, solid players, and return and to restart this and then maybe trade Mike Sheffley at the same time. You know what I mean? Like changing everything over there. I think you could check another 7, 8 great players and return because Hellebuck and Mike Sheffley. I could be wrong here, but I think Hellebuck could become a big piece of the puzzle as so many teams. They will offer a lot of things and return more at check run example.
For sure. I think so. Again, many times I brought it up tonight, but San Jose, right? They lost that window. They missed that window to make that pivot and keep their franchise retooled, right? So, I don't know the market that well in Winnipeg. Is the fan base ready to give up on this core? I think last year they're probably pretty disappointed. But yeah, like I'm all in favor. Like you need to pivot sometimes to the one difference between Dallas and Winnipeg is luckily they only have one of those anchors of a contract, right? So Scheifele would not be hard to move, and he's going to be a UFA next year anyways, right? So you only got Wheeler, a real problem. While in Dallas, you've got two contracts like that, which is, in San Jose, you've got, Vlasic and Carlson. So at least they only have one big anchor that's really holding them down. Otherwise, like they have some nice assets.
A lot of great comments in the chat, by the way, for the people. Maybe the problem is Cheryl Day off, possible about that one. But at the end of the day, I think Hellebuck could give them a lot of good pieces. And I don't have any specific team in my head right now, but I think some team will have appreciate to have Hellebuck and maybe some team like I don't know right now in my head, but a team we're looking for go deep. Could enjoy to have Hellebuck and give something back. I'm sure they will have some partner to talk about at some point.
New Jersey would be a good fit. New Jersey would be a good fit for Hellebuck.
Yeah. And I know we cannot talk about this anymore, but I'll bring a lot of great point where sometimes you don't need a star as a goaltender. Some average like a little bit above, like Osgood or Niemi, Cranford is all the kind of goaltender make a big run at the end and they win the Stanley Cup. You're absolutely right about this, Al. Great comment, guy. We want to appreciate. We want to say thank you for free, Luciano, Andy, Al, in our tap, Eternal. Green, and then maybe I forgot one, Eternal. Ron, we can make a lot of great comments, Andy and Luciano, about this subject tonight, about the X Factor. You guys make the channel better when you do those stuff like that. Wish we have more people, but it is what it is. That's another subject for another time, Mr. Marco, are you ready to come back stronger for after your last yesterday? Did pretty good anyway. You got 2 yesterday, but Andy finished with 3.
Wow.
Andy is in the
You're really
chat
keeping
tonight.
track.
Can he win again a back-to-back game? It'll be interesting to say that about this. And we'll go for the quiz of the night. 5 questions. Tonight, Mr. It's all about in the last 3 years. That's simple. It's the last 3 years. So we'll be interesting
All right.
who's going to step up and win the 3rd time of the HNL Tonight Show Frenchy Quiz. Here we go. The first question of the night, ladies and gentlemen. And I can find it. That'll be great. And the last 3 seasons, which player on this list has the best shot on the goal percentage scoring? TJ, I put the S at TJ, Oshie, Kyle Connor, Josh Norris, Marcus Foligno, Chris Grader. Which one of them have the best shot on goal percentage? You have a better chance to win tonight. Only 20 people around to win the contest. Chicago, welcome back. By the way, quiet tonight, but it good be with us. We'll go with Kyle. I'll go with Grader. Andy, Kyle Corner, Eternal, Kyle Corner. Ron with Keynes go with Josh Norris. RJ go with Foligno. William Foligno. Mike Rabonowitz back in the house tonight. Jose Duarte with E. And I think it's your time to tell us what you think, Mr. Marco, about this one.
Yeah. So one of your techniques, coach, is what I call the Sesame Street technique. The one of these things is not like the other. So one player that doesn't seem to fit in the rest of the group. And that would be Marcus Foligno, right? Not known as a elite offensive player. So he shouldn't be on that list. So that's the obvious. You're trying to point me to him. But I think you've realized that I might already know that. So I'm going to go with 8. TJ. I'm assuming TJ Oshie, not TS Oshie.
Yeah. And then Vinny said that on it. First of all, Mr. Marco, you read my mind completely. You're absolutely right about this one there. But oh my God! I decided to stay with my mind. Here's the winner
Street.
on that one over there. But you're absolutely right about this. RJ, William Snyder, Mark Rabinowitz, Luciano Graziano in our tap, and opposite Marco Dinasco on that one over there. I'm going to give it the chance. Nicolas de Gobi Bono back in the house. Welcome back, Nicolas. I'm going to give you that one over there. Congratulations of the first question of the night. But a great point, Marco, about that one over there.
Sesame Street, yeah.
Question number 2 of the night. Who can come back with 2 straight? Question number 2. In the last 3 seasons, which player from this list has the most shot on the goal and the NHL? Short on the
Short-handed goals.
Yeah,
Okay.
short-handed goal.
Okay.
I said short goal. So SHG, power play.
HNL.
PK goal, honestly. Sébastien Ao, Brett Marchand, Alexander Barkov, Adrien Kempe, and Mika Zibanejad. Who has the most goal on the PK in the last 3 seasons? That's the best answer to give it to you. Nicolas, got you. Al Grugo, I got you. Chicago, Ron, I got you. And then we have Chicago, Ron, Eternal, RJ, William Snyder, in our tap, Jose Duarte, Vinny, Andy Quivula. And Mr. Marco.
So the Sesame Street pick on this one is Adrian Kempe. That's the
Yeah.
one that shouldn't be on the list. But I think similar to last time, I'm going to go with Aho, just because I know that he does really well on PK, but we'll see.
Mark Rabinowitz, D. Luciano, go with E.
Oh my God!
This time, Mr. Marco, you nail it. You got that one over there. It's Sebastian Ao. RJ and William Snyder take the lead, listener, and you have two good answers with this one over there. And Jose Duarte and Al, of course, they have Sebastian Ao. Congratulations. And let's move on. Question number 3 of the night. And the last 3 seasons, which player from this list has the most power play goal? Leon Trisadol, David Pasnak, Austin Matthews, Chris Creator, Ovechkin. Honestly, you cannot tell me I put a name where he cannot score on that list.
Wow.
Here we go. I'm going with B, Coach Luciano. Awesome. Nicolas A, RJD. Thank you. And our tap A, Runway Kings E, Al C, Chicago B, William C, Eternal E. But we have a lot of different answer right now here.
Yeah.
Jose, Andy, Mark, and Vinny. Here we go. The answer for you, Mr. Marco.
The last 3 seasons. So the one that doesn't look like should be on the list, even though he scored 50 last year, is Chris Kreider. He shouldn't be on this list. And I don't think he is. I don't think he's the guy. I think it's probably between A and B. I have a hunch that it's B, David Pasternak.
Here we go.
Oh my God!
I feel like when now you're doing the inner tap style at this moment, the answer is A. And the second thought of Mr. Inner always the good one. But,
B?
ladies and gentlemen, the good news
B?
here, nobody take 3 good answers. Now we have a tie. RJ, William, Jose Duarte, Inner Tap, Nicolas de Gobi Bono are all tied up at 2 good answers so far, so it's not over yet. Andy Quivula finally find a way to score a 1 goal on that one over there. Question number 4. This one under, over, or exact? Mr. Adam Berger, welcome back in the house avec the quiz from last night. And the last 3 seasons, how many players have over 100 minutes of penalty? 43 of them. The last 3 seasons, over 100 minutes of penalty. Under, over, or exact? Thank you, Mr. Chicago Bear. Round with Kings, thank you. Hopefully you're doing well, Adam, by the way. Zenit, welcome back. William, over. Nicolas, under. Whoa, that's jumping right away. Jose, Eternal, NR Tap, Vinny. Then we have in our tap Vinny, Mark, Al, and Andy. And Mr. Marco.
It's a tough
Luciano.
one. Over 100 minutes.
Thank you,
I'm going
RJ.
to say, I'm going to say Under.
Under. All right. We'll see if you are right or not.
Oh my God!
Yes, you are right. 39 of them have 100-minute penalty of this. But Jose Duarte and Nicolas de Gobi-Bono take the lead with 3 good answers, followed by Marco and Artap, Mark Rabanowitz, William, and RJ all at 2, with Andy Quivula just score under the goal. That's going to be happening for the last and question of the night, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go back in the last 3 years in the NHL. The last 3 seasons, one from this list is over plus 59, 59 a plus. Austin Matthews, Jonathan Huberdeau, Alexander Barkov, Mitch Marner, and Mike Stone. It's over plus 59. He could be plus 66, plus 55. Does that make sense? You don't have to be specifically 59. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Here we go.
Over plus 59.
Yep. And we go to start right there. 40 like awesome. Chicago, Run with Kings, Andy Quivula. Thank you. RJ, thank you. William Snyder, Zenit, thank you. Eternal, thank you. Eternal, Al, thank you. Don't forget, guys, to click on the likes before you get out the zone. Nicolas de Gobi, thank you. We have Mark Rabinowitz, Vinny, Lucky, Jose, thank you. Enartab, thank you. And Mr. Marko.
I could be mistaken, but I think I remember hearing about that. I think it's Mitch Marner.
Mitch Marner.
Yeah.
That's a good guess, by the way. Is it right or wrong? This is the biggest question about this one. Yeah. Can Nicolas de Gobi, can Jose Duarte score and win the contest, or other people can tie the game? Would be interesting to see that. Because the question answer is A again. And Nicolas de Gobi-Bono is the winner only tonight with 4 good answers.
Nice.
And 5. Congratulations, Mr. Nicolas de Gobi-Bono.
Nice.
Congratulations about
That's a
that
good
one
quiz,
over there,
Coach.
Mr. Nicolas. By the way, Marco, I want to mention to you, I did not pay attention to this, but he's right. The last 4 of the 5 answers are all A. And I'll be honest with you, I never think that way. It's rare I do that way. It just go that direction.
So you're not playing mind games with us. Like, it's completely accidental that you do stuff like
this
that?
one, it was really accidental. I did not pay attention to the A. It could happen sometime, right? I mix, but not tonight about this one over there. So that's conclude this one over there. And honestly, that's pretty amazing. If you think about this, we have a winner only 1 per night so far. So that's pretty cool to see that. Maybe because we don't have a lot of people in the chat. Maybe that's what I don't know. Go about that. First of all, Marco, we want to thank you for your participation tonight as a contest. And I'm going to give you a day off tomorrow night because I'm going to see you Sunday morning for the AB brunch. I can wait to talk about our first show together. And we have Miss Karen Hans with us. We're going to talk a little bit, catch up together before we do the show, honestly. But we want to thank you for tonight. And then we want to thank everybody in the chat. I know it was not many viewers tonight, but it's all right. It is what it is. But you have a great contents, great comment from Marco on the hot seat. And a lot of people participate in the chat. That's all about at the end of the night. And before we leave, I want to remind everybody, you are awesome. You are amazing. You are the best. And remember, you have greatness inside of you. Here we go, Mr. Marco. That's complete another HNL Tonight Show with Marco Larabie and Coach Frenchy. Until the next video, we want to remind everybody, of course, be well, be healthy. Find a way not only dominate your day, but find a way to dominate the second half of what? 2022. Have an amazing, great night, everybody. And of course, We love you, people. Have a good, sweet dream, everybody. Thank you, Marco. I appreciate that again.
Sweet dreams. Good night, guys.
Thank you. Andy, thanks so much again. Zenith, RJ Calabro, Luciano, moderator, Al, great to see you, my friend. And Nicolas de Goubé, great job again tonight. Vinny, great. Mark Rabinowitz, Jose Duarte, all the moderators of the Hockey Nation Show, we want to thank you for your participation. And our tap, of course, was with us tonight. William Snyder is another one participate to the show tonight. Zenith Gaming, like I mentioned to you. And Marco was another great asset of the Hockey Nation Show. And free staff was great with us tonight to be with the Hockey Nation Show, the HNL Tonight Show. Have a good night, everybody.
What do I know?
Eternal, for that you, my friend. Have a great night, buddy. What was a good night tonight? What's the fun question? Not a bad night, or 42 lights. It's just a viewer or not there yet. It's alright. We go lower, our Jake was 32 at some point. Here's what it is.
We parted. You showed in your own way we would stand and we would fall united. Come on, get a grip now. Just finish what you started. Don't like the feeling that I've been fooled, deceived, and so misguided.
Not a problem, man.